If you've ever been told by somebody, drink less coffee, and proceeded to laugh at them, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. Welcome back to another episode of Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook. We're at Hump Day here. It is October 8th. Got some more news to cover. We got another session ahead of us here. The government is still shut down, but we are going to make the most of everything here today. We're going to try and make some more money. Of course, we have Tim Melvin here because it is Wednesday. I know you all are excited about that. Let's go ahead and get the party started. Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook for Wednesday, October 8th begins right now. Good morning and welcome back, folks. It is great to see a whole bunch of returning faces here. I hope that you enjoyed the rest of your Tuesday evening. Did a webinar with Tim Melvin and Anne Marie, which was awesome. And then I binged on the hockey opening. So I woke up today in a really good mood. And I am absolutely ready to go here. First, Azrar. Good morning, Ryan and everyone. Azrar, you are first. The early bird. Hopefully you get the worm here today. Really good stuff, Azrar. It's good to see you again. Dara, good morning. Dara says that feeling when you sell a stock just before market ends and it skyrockets after market. Dara, I'll say this. I have been there. Sometimes it doesn't even have to wait until the after hours to really start going. We'll just go for some other reason in the same day. It's happened to me. It happens to the best of us. In the words of Roger Federer, if you lose a point, you have to be able to immediately forget that point and move on to the next one. And that's where we find ourselves here today. I am curious as to what stock it was. Maybe that stock is going to be in play here today. I don't know. You'll have to let me know. Sunkissed Yogi, good morning. Welcome back. Peter, good morning. Francis, good morning. Faves, good morning. Did I remember it correctly? Tom, good morning. Thanks for all the positive energy there, Tom. Crimp Biscuit, good morning. Supri, welcome back. Good morning. Brian, good morning. Mama Bear, good morning. Buffalo by Bicycle, good morning. Dan, good morning. Welcome back. Empyrean, it's good to see you as always. Stellanos, good morning from Greece. Hello. Actually, one of my coworkers in Greece, and he says that it is one of the most beautiful places in the world and that his view is second to none. So, hopefully you have the same thing. Welcome and good morning. Glass half full, good morning. Bobby, good morning. Reaching Financial Freedom, good morning. Chuck and Jay Grant, good morning. Judge, good to see you again. Good morning. How about those Yankees yesterday, Judge? How about Aaron Judge? Durkis, good morning. Anglade? Let me know if I'm pronouncing that correct. Good morning. Bernhard, good morning. Robert, welcome back. It's good to see you, Robert. Maverick, welcome back. James, welcome back. Cam and JJ, welcome back. AC, Big Bear Hug, and Mark, welcome back. Brandy, good morning. Just passing through, good morning. Lambo Rolls, good morning. White Chocolate Mocha, good morning. Glenn, good morning. How about those Yankees? Yo, that was an exciting game. Hopefully the Yankees performance rubs off on the Cubs and they can actually get a W because it's looking pretty grim right now, but we'll see how it shakes out here. Super Sam, good morning. Dara, it was Boo-Roo. All right, well, let me just add that to the list here and see what's going on. That's one of those penny names, isn't it? We'll take a look. I'll take a look at least. Philip, good morning. Ed, good morning. Yes, that girl, good morning. Hans YOLO, good morning. Karanbir, good morning. And Angela, okay, got it. Perfect. Got it right. Good. Christian, good morning. Bogey's Adventure, good morning. Let's go ahead and get started here with our stock market today. All right, futures in the green here for this Hump Day Wednesday morning of October 8th. S&P futures here up 0.16%, Dow futures here up 0.23%, and the NASDAQ futures up 0.16%. So very slightly in the green and close to flat, but nonetheless still in the green here today. Let's take a look at some cues from the last session. While consumer staples and utility stocks bucked the trend to close higher, most S&P sectors ended negatively, with industrials, consumer discretionary, and communication services recording the biggest losses. Shares of Oracle fell 2.5% on Tuesday, dragging other tech stocks after the company said it faced financial struggles related to renting out the NVIDIA chips. Meanwhile, following his meeting with Prime Minister Mark Carney, President Trump hinted at the potential progress in trade negotiations with Canada, but gave no concrete assurances as tariffs continue to strain the neighboring economy. The 10-year yield, the 10-year Treasury bond yielded 4.11%. The 2-year bond was at 3.56%. Now, again, I want to go through some of the stocks in focus here today. We're going to be focusing again, on TMQ, which jumped 8% in the pre-market here today, continuing its move, fueled by the Trump administration's investment in the metals sector, sparking interest in rare earths and battery metals. Another stock here. Hey, look at this, Stara. Naburu, ticker BURU, surged 34.84% after the announcement of its defense subsidiary's acquisition of Orbit SRI, an Italian software firm. The strategic move marks Naburu's expansion into defense software, enhancing its mission assurance capabilities. So that might be in play here again today. Next one here is going to be Poet. This is ticker POET, Poet Technologies. They gained 12.94% as it announced that it closed a non-brokered private placement with a single institutional investor, raising $75 million through the sale of 13.6 million shares and accompanying warrants, the largest investment in the company's history. Let's keep the jokes to a minimum here, but ticker AZZ, that was down 1/10 ahead of its earnings, scheduled to be released after the closing bell. Analysts here are expecting 1.58 per share on revenue of $427.38 million. Last stock in focus here today is going to be one that we follow often. It's Joby, ticker JOBY. Joby dropped 9.47% as it announced plans to offer and sell $500 million of its common stock in a public offering. All right, let's go back to Pro here and check out the chart for the SPY. There's not a whole lot of change, but I definitely want to get you prepared for all of this. Oops, that's the wrong one. Let's go ahead and bring up SPY here. I definitely want to get you prepared for all of this stuff here. Here's where we're at. We did set a new all-time high yesterday right out of the open. We sold off from that all-time high, so we actually created a bearish engulfing candle there on the SPY. But nonetheless, we've moved our top-end key level to the new all-time high of 672.99. You want to call that 673? I, of course, won't fight you on that. But nonetheless, this is definitely going to be one of our key levels. We'll see if we even test that here today. Another key level that we want to look at is, of course, going to be the previous breakout level from the previous all-time high of 667.34. And then, of course, we have the 663.84 20-day moving average if we continue that sell-off. More immediately, though, we want to see what happens down here, 667.74. With the 667.74, yesterday's intraday low level, and then the 667.34 level of the previous all-time high breakout, it sure seems to me that the entire 667 handle on the SPY is going to at least be worth watching to see if we end up cracking that. I think if we crack both of those downside levels there, that probably opens up a move down to that 20-day moving average. So we'll see if we get that here today, or if we get any other type of move that gives us a setup. So that's kind of what I'm looking at here on the SPY. Now let's take a look at some more insights from analysts here. Okay, real quick here. So some of the stragglers here, good morning. I shouldn't call you stragglers. Some of the later joiners here, Kumo, Johnny, EB, Youssef, Jonathan, good morning. Boogie, good morning. Day Trader, Austin, and Zoo, good morning. Good morning, everybody. It's great to see you here. Hope everyone's locked in and ready to go here today. Ed Yardini of Yardini Research said in his daily newsletter to investors that financials were in a, quote, sweet spot, end quote, and the growth in commercial bank loans and leases indicates that the economy was in good shape. He highlighted that the S&P 500 diversified bank stock price index is at a record high, and it was up 4.7% year on year through September 24th, twice as fast at the beginning of this year. He goes on to say, quote, this confirms our view that the pace of the economic activity isn't slowing. It may actually be accelerating, end quote. Meanwhile, Ryan Dietrich, chief market strategist at the Carson Group, said that the current bull market is approaching its third anniversary, a significant milestone that invites historical comparison. Dietrich presented a chart comparing the current rally, which started in October of 2022, against the 5 previous bull markets of the last 50 years that also lasted this long. The data reveals a potentially optimistic outlook for investors. Historically, once a bull market has made it this far, it has tended to continue for much longer. Let me know if you folks think that is going to happen here. Dietrich notes that the shortest of these past 5 bull runs lasted 5 years. The average was 8 years, and 2 extended into double-digit territory, surpassing that, if history is any guide. The current market expansion may still have considerable room to run. Now, as per usual, I'm going to drop you this article here. It's going to have a link to several of these tweets, as well as the stocks that are in play here today that we just discussed. So there you go. Now, we did have some news here, or we talked a little bit about Tesla yesterday. Tesla, of course, had its event yesterday. I know that there were some rumors floating out there about a potential deal with Archer that ended up not materializing. Archer actually ended up bleeding the rest of the session there. Let's actually check really quick on Archer before we dive into Tesla, where that's at. You can see Archer did, in fact, pull back. This is what really happened in the afternoon when we realized that that rumor was not coming into play. We are kind of holding this area, so we'll see if Archer actually breaks out or down from this sideways area. One of the things I think we can probably do is just mark this area off. I want to call it 12, but it looks like it goes a little bit higher than that, maybe 12.15 to the upside, and then the downside here, probably 11.80. So you're looking at maybe a 40, 45 cent range in there. We'll see which direction Archer decides to take today if it breaks out of there. Again, when we're looking at these kind of sideways setups, the best possible thing to happen for us as traders is a break out or down from that level, and then a back test of that level. That should give us some confidence to enter the trade, whether it's short or long at that point. But let's get back to Tesla here, because that's what the story is about, and that was the company that had the event. Here's what Tesla looked like. It also sold off in the afternoon and also is kind of holding that low area here. If we take another look back at the daily chart, you can see where we find ourselves at. We're basically right at or near that 20-day moving average, and so far we are holding above this range. I have it marked off at 430.48. We can just call that 430.5. So we're holding above that level. Let's see if we actually break into that channel that should act as a little bit of support, or if it just fully tests that 20-day moving average. Now, I'm going to give you a bull and a bear case here on Tesla. The goal here, at least for me, is for you to decide which direction you want to play it. I have no position personally. Obviously, I've been following Tesla here, but to be quite honest with you, my trading performance on Tesla as an individual stock is not great. So I'm being a little bit more conservative. Nonetheless, here, Tesla bull and Wedbush Securities investor Dan Ives has expressed optimism over the EV giant's affordable models, as well as the full self-driving V14.1 updates. In a new investor's note released on Tuesday following the announcement of affordable models in the company's lineup, Ives reiterated his bullish stance on the company's stock performance. Quote, "We believe the launch of a lower cost model represents the first step to getting back to about a 500K quarterly delivery run rate," end quote. However, he conceded that the affordable Model Y and Model 3 trims, which boast a similar price point to the already available variants with the EV credit, could pose a challenge. Quote, "We are relatively disappointed with this launch as the price point is only 5K lower than prior Model 3s and Ys." And again, quote from Dan Ives there. On Full Self-Driving's latest 14.1 update, Ives hailed improvements to the system, which now promise fewer interventions as well as updated arrival options for parking in streets, garages, and more. Quote, "We believe Tesla could reach a $2 trillion market cap early 2026 in a bull case scenario, and a $3 trillion cap by the end of 2026 as full-scale volume production begins of the autonomous and robotics roadmap," end quote. I've said that, adding that an AI-driven march for Tesla's valuation has begun. So those folks that say, you know, Tesla's not just a car company, you're starting to get more and more of that now, and it's starting to be reflected in the price if it wasn't already. I guess it's starting to be it's being reflected more in the price would be the proper way of saying that. Ives also said that the full self-driving and autonomous penetration, as well as Tesla's acceleration of the cybercab development, represents, quote, the golden goose for Musk and company, end quote. Ives maintained an outperform rating and a $600 price target from Tesla. Again, Tesla here in the pre-market, $434. Ives had earlier said that autonomous driving and robotics present a $1 trillion market opportunity for Tesla. The EV giant has recently begun its push towards AI and robots with its Master Plan 4, which Tesla also debuting the Optimus robot during a red carpet event. It's also worth noting that Tesla quietly revised the meaning of the full self-driving system following the unveiling of Elon Musk's $1 trillion pay package, which stipulates a milestone of 10 million active FSD subscriptions to make Musk eligible to receive a tranche of the compensation reward. Now, there is critics, of course, for this. News comes as Tesla faced criticism from analysts for releasing the affordable models, which Future Fund LLC's Gary Black saying that the models won't sell as they offer fewer features for the price. Meanwhile, Ross Gerber also criticized the affordable Model Y, cautioning people against buying Tesla vehicles. Gerber also predicted a difficult Q4 ahead. Now, I want to dive into that a little bit more here. We have an article for this as well. I'll go ahead and drop this in the chat for any of you that are looking for that. We'll start here with Gerber, the investor, Ross Gerber, that is. The investor shared his thoughts on social media platform X on Tuesday following the announcement by Tesla. Quote, literally called it $7,500 less good only to eat sales from higher priced models, end quote. He also criticized Tesla CEO Elon Musk, saying that, quote, the tax credit got pilfered, end quote, by Musk himself. In another post, Gerber doubled down on his criticism. If you buy this car, the cheap Model Y3, you will lose money. Gerber said, adding that Tesla could lower the price of these trims and that you'd risk paying $5,000 too much for the trim levels. Only lease new Teslas. Come on. Only lease new Teslas. Take this as a warning. Gerber has been vocal of Tesla and Musk and a Musk critic in the past, most recently criticizing Tesla for the affordable Model Y as a warning of a difficult Q4 for the company, despite exceeding delivery expectations in Q3. Do we see another pullback here on those deliveries? We'll see. Gary Black, too, took to social media to express his criticisms of the new affordable Tesla Model Y and its lack of features. Quote, for $5,000 less, you get lower battery range, less acceleration, cloth seats, no exterior light bars, smaller wheels, no second row touchscreen, and a cheaper sound system. He added that while the price tag of below $40K may get customers into the store, quote, I don't see these selling, end quote. There's a picture here from Gary Black and basically retweeting whole Mars catalog, saying that they just covered up the glass roof. They just added a piece of carpet, but there's actually a glass roof there. I mean, that's absurd. That's absurd. I would imagine if that's the case, and again, I haven't seen one of these, so I can't confirm it myself, but I would imagine that if this is the case, there are going to be plenty of people out there that figure out how to cut the carpet and then actually make that glass roof available. Probably needs a controller, but the wiring is probably all in there if it is in fact built like that. Crazy stuff. The investor said earlier that Tesla's move to offer an affordable Model Y wouldn't enhance the automaker's brand appeal, something that Black says he's a huge supporter of. You'll have to let me know. I think at this point now, it sure seems like the market is trying to move away from looking at Tesla solely as a car company, and it looks like Tesla and other investors are feeding into that. So I guess we're going to have to wait and see to determine what the actual effects of this are over the long term. But so far, doesn't sound great. Doesn't sound great. Brian is saying, Guy just explained car ownership. Find me one car that isn't worth less a year later. That's true. I mean, cars, they say what? Cars depreciate 30% or something like that is the moment you drive them off the lot when they're new. This is why, in my personal opinion, this might be a controversial opinion, but if you're looking to buy any type of luxury car, Tesla or otherwise, frankly, you're probably better off buying a slightly used luxury car, maybe 1, 2, 3 years old with low miles, because that car has taken the biggest depreciation hit that it's going to take from its initial price tag. But that's neither here nor there. Okay, I want to talk about Joby here. You know what? We can actually start with the chart here. Might as well. Let's pull up Joby, take a look and see where we're at. Joby trading down by 11% here today. It actually moved down 3.37% yesterday. You can see what the chart is kind of forming here. And actually, before 13 gets here, I'm actually just going to draw this trend line now. If we do find some support and trade back up, we'll see if we can break that trend line and maybe kind of change things around. But nonetheless, a look inside here. This is what happened. Joby announces an offering yesterday, and we are actually lower here today as well. Let's go to the actual story. Shares of electric vertical takeoff and landing eVTOL aircraft company Joby Aviation are tumbling in Tuesday's after-hours session after the company filed for a $500 million offering. Joby announced plans to offer and sell 5 million of its common stock in a public offering. The company intends to grant the underwriters a 30-day option to buy up to an additional 75 million of common stock at the offering price, which was not disclosed. Joby said it expects to use the net proceeds from the offering to help fund its certification and manufacturing efforts in an effort to prepare for commercial operations. So they're telling you that they're going to try and use this They're going to try and use this money to expand the business. We'll see if investors are buying that or if they buy the stock back up. Joby has approximately $991 million in cash equivalents, and investments in marketable securities at the end of the second quarter. Joby's current price, reflects a significant daily decline, indicating bearish momentum. The stock is trading above its 50-day moving average of 1580, suggesting potential support at this level, while the 200-day moving average is at 1012, indicating a longer-term bullish trend. The recent high of 1998 may act as resistance if the price moves back up and the stock retraces. We also are going to use that trend line there. That'll be kind of an early indicator of whether or not we're going to have some more upside momentum there. Overall, the technical indicators and patterns suggest a cautious approach, with traders watching for a potential bounce off of support or a breakdown below that 50-day moving average. 3D here saying we'll need to update Tesla car often like an iPhone. It definitely seems like it's moving to that. My big worry about this, there's been a number of folks over the years that have reported that, hey, now that I've updated my iPhone, everything works worse. Everything's slower. Everything lags a little bit more. If that happens in the car, that's no bueno. That is going to be no bueno for sure. Okay. I think that does it here for Joby. Let me go ahead and get the chart back here. It is Wednesday. It's hump day. But what that also means is that it is Tim Melvin day. So we're going to check in with him and see how he's doing here. Tim, good morning. It's great to see you. Well, there we go. Camera's working. Tim, it's great to see you. I will say this. Go ahead. Just get started. Get your Cubs jokes out of the way now.
No Cubs jokes. I got absolutely no Cubs jokes. Nothing. We'll see how it goes from here. I did see that the Florida ice dancing team beat the Chicago ice dancing team last night. So I guess they're right back off to the start of the NHL season.
I'll say this. First of all, Florida's your defending Cup champion, and they're going for a three-peat this year. This is one of the top teams in the league. And I will say that my Blackhawks team, which has been kind of underwater recently, they put up a really good fight yesterday. They clearly look different than last year. So me being the glass half full person that I am, I'm definitely trying to take away some positives from that game. But indeed, they did take the L. Okay.
I do find it fascinating that hockey for the last decade has been dominated by teams from Florida, because outside the hockey rink, the only ice in Florida is found in cocktail glasses.
Yeah,
The
or
fact that
jewelry.
yeah. So anyway, Ryan, as you know, my Baltimore Orioles came to a stunning, ugly season. They're out. I can't wear my Orioles shirts anymore because the season's over. So I made the big seasonal switch. So we put all the Orioles shirts away, and we now have our shirts representing the 5-0 Navy midshipmen from Annapolis, my hometown. So we've got a lot of this gear too. So we'll be wearing
Can't
this.
wait. And I
Well,
also cannot wait for the breakdown when we get the Army Navy game. I believe that you hailed this last year as, quote, the only college game that matters, end quote.
it is the only college football game that matters. That's just I'll believe that till the day I am not here anymore. Anyway,
Well,
jumping
really,
in.
really quick, it looks like you've got a fan of the ice dancing comments. So apparently,
Yes,
a day trader. I think that you're out in California. There, hockey's pretty big in California. I wonder what you think about that ice dancing comment. Lots of laughter here early, which I do like to see. I like to see laughter in the morning. That's a good thing.
So anyway, we're going to get started today. We got a lot, as you know. We got some fascinating stuff, some big new developments in pro that are super exciting that I'm going to talk about this morning. But I'm going to lead off with a couple of academic studies that strike me as being important enough. And if Lion, our resident gold bug, is here, he'll like two of the three of these. But some things that I ran across this week in my reading, and they're important, so I'm going to share them. Ryan, I sent you links to this stuff. So
Ooh, I
if
got links here today.
yeah, so if anybody wants it, you can just send that along to them. Um,
Okay. Oh, this is easy too. These are two hyperlinks that I can just include in the email. Okay, we do this all the time, but for anyone else, all the Benzinga guests have celebrity status. Actually, that's true. Tim, you're a celebrity, so
I'm
so get
I'm a
ready for that.
celebrity. I'm okay. I'm in. I like being a celebrity. Anyway,
Okay, really quick here, guys. I'm going to go ahead and throw my email in the chat. If you want a copy of any of these studies that Tim is referencing here today, shoot me an email. I will get those to you as soon as possible. I wish you know what? Actually, since they're links, I can just post them in the chat, can't I?
I think so. Yes.
Yeah, let me try this. Here's both of them. I don't have them labeled. I'm just pasting them. Let's see how this turns out. Oh, yeah, I think. Can you guys click those two links? You'll have to let me know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Producer, let me know if we need to split those links up into separate messages. You figured that out. Tim, I'm sorry. Keep going.
No, don't worry about it. The first paper comes from Campbell Harvey at the Duke University Fuqua School of Business. Now, I didn't send links to the papers here because there's two of them, so I just sent you a link to his page. This guy's one of the best researchers, bar none, in all of academia today, and he tackles some of the tough topics. His quantitative work is outstanding. His qualitative work is right up there. This guy is I hate to give props to Canadians this early in the morning, but this guy's top of the game. He's one of the best researchers out there. So he came out with a new paper called Understanding Gold, and it's very timely. It just came out because gold is either predicting the end of the world, massive Weimar Republic type inflation, or we're all missing something. Well, Harvey has looked at gold for a very long time, and he came out with a paper called Understanding Gold. So, and there obviously is a link to it at his site. Gold traditionally has been known for maintaining purchasing power for over 2,500 years. Until this last gold rally, the pay in gold of a Roman centurion was about the same in terms of purchasing power as of late last year as an Army major with 10 years experience. So it had perfectly maintained purchasing power over 2,500 years. However, we're way ahead of that curve right now. Gold has just blasted off. So now our lonely centurion will be getting paid like a 3-star general. So gold now has a positive real return, which is not a normal condition and not one that usually exists. Ordinarily, gold has a zero. In other words, exactly after inflation, your purchasing power is even. What's going on? What is happening? Why are we seeing this surge in gold? And Harvey says there's three things that we need to be thinking about here. They may be right. They may come to pass. If they do, it's a significant change for the gold market. If they don't, gold's going to revert to the mean. The first one is financialization. This has been ongoing since 2004. This is, as my father would say, it's a big damn deal, Timothy. I was usually in trouble when I heard that.
I was going to say, that doesn't sound like a good, that didn't sound good, Tim. I'm not going to lie.
No, it wasn't. It
When
wasn't.
they use the full name, that's
Yeah.
trouble.
Now, we can't repeat what my mother used to say because this is a family show. So when I was in trouble. But anyway, financialization started in 2004. Now, this is simply that most mutual funds, institutional managers, endowments, pensions, they can't hold physical gold. It's usually in their mandate. Right, it's in their documents that they can't do that because of insurance and storage costs and a whole bunch of different reasons. Now here comes gold ETFs. Now they're backed by gold, but they don't involve all the mechanics of holding physical gold. Now you've got mutual funds and pensions and hedge funds and all kinds of people that couldn't own gold that can now own gold. So that creates a new source of demand. And trend followers love gold ETFs because prior to that, it was either, local gold corn dealer who, let's be honest, you're probably not going to get a fair shake from that guy. He's in business to make money after all, or the futures market. Now, de-dollarization, and this is huge. All right. For years, the financial system went along. Dollars were the reserve currency for everybody. In the United States, we did something we'd never done before in 2022. We froze Russia's dollar reserves. Now, we may not like Russia. We may wish Russia would get out of Ukraine and quit messing around in the Eastern European countries. We may wish a lot of things about Russia. We're not at war with Russia. Freezing somebody's dollar reserves, that's an act of war. Countries are now saying, well, wait a minute. If they can do that to Russia and all of a sudden I don't like them, they don't like me for some reason, well, they can do that to me. I can't hold just dollars. I've got to start moving away from that. And one of the areas they've been moving is gold. And that's one of the reasons you've seen China, Russia, and a lot of emerging market central banks begin to aggressively buy gold. All right. And the sanctions on Russia recently have just made that worse. We may think they're wonderful and brilliant. They're putting pressure on these bad, evil guys. We're not at war with them, period. Okay. It makes people pull back, countries in the world, and say, I'm not comfortable with being in this position vis-a-vis the United States. I'm not going to hold dollars the way I have for the last 50 years. Where else can they go? They're going to gold. So that's one of the big drivers of the recent rally in gold. Now, and this one's big. All right. This is huge. This is potentially a game changer. There's research floating around out there in the upper towers of academia that shows analysis that shows that gold meets the global Basel III standards for high quality liquid assets, as well as longer term sovereign government bonds, in particular U.S. Treasuries. If that is approved, now that means instead of holding all of your reserves in Treasuries, which a lot of banks just found out was not a great idea to have longer term Treasuries. If this is approved from U.S. banks alone, it creates an additional annual demand of 1,885 tons of gold. That, ladies and gentlemen, is 57% increase over and above the amount of gold that's being mined in the world. This is a huge demand. Now, China is flirting with the idea of allowing insurers to hold 1% of their assets in gold. That could generate another 226 tons of demand. So there's some really interesting stuff going on in the gold market behind the scenes that we don't necessarily think about. We're not studying. So anything that adds to supply, like Basel III, and this is why it's a big game changer, gold supply is inelastic. It's about a 2% annual growth. Small demand changes cause large price swings. And by the way, no, you can't just ramp that from 2% to 10%. First, you got to find the gold, then you got to open the mine. So all of that, big game changer, potentially. So if particularly the Basel III comes into play and de-dollarization continues and money keeps flowing into gold, this could keep pushing things, dramatically higher in the gold market. Now, at this point in time, it's also worth noting that gold at these prices, especially at all-time high real prices, and I do mean all-time, like all-time, these are way outside the confidence bands versus oil, copper, silver, and other metals and inflation hedges. So this is fascinating. I mean, gold is kind of the risk-off trade. It's provided positive returns in eight of the last 11 major equity drawdowns since 1975. So, is the de-dollarization trend going to continue? Does the Basel III inclusion, which, by the way, that's not happening tomorrow, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But it's massive. All right. So anyway, these are just some things. The paper is fascinating reading for those of you that want to embrace your inner geek and get a little deeper into the gold markets. So I wanted to share that paper with you guys this morning, Ryan, because as I said, I think it's a pretty important paper.
Okay, really quick here. This is a good comment here. Period. Really sharp comments here very often. Once robotics can mine, those legacy mines that can be gone, that can be gone back into will be big. Any places humans can't get to will eventually still be mined by robots.
Which brings us to our second paper of the day.
Perfect segue. Perfect.
I'll checks in the mail on lunch, but thank you. Harvey and his team also did, upon completing that one, they came in and they looked at gold and Bitcoin. Not my two favorite things in the whole wide world, but they looked at how effective are they as long-term hedges, what's going on in these markets, and they compared them as stores of value and hedges. And, there's lots of similarities, low inflation rates between the two, really high mining costs, especially for gold, but Bitcoin ain't cheap.
Real quick, Tim, before you get too far into this is a good question from Rooster. I should have asked this myself, Rooster, but thankfully you're here. Is silver included at all in this study, or is it strictly gold?
He did strictly gold.
Okay. Good question, though.
He did strictly gold. Yeah, that is a great question. However, the correlation between gold and silver is pretty sharp over time.
Yeah. Then I'm sure that's why he's asking.
Yeah. So threats. So Harvey and his team, they looked at threats to both. So we'll do gold first since we just talked about it. But there's a few. One's nuclear fusion, right? And this is theoretical, but if we get there, okay, and we're probably going to get there in terms of nuclear fusion, just trust me, it's not next week, it's not next Thursday, it's not 2030. And I know the internet has you ready to believe that nuclear fusion is just right around the corner and there's a secret government lab where they're doing stuff and it's working and the evil people are all plotting and you have to do something right now immediately or you're all going to die. It's not true. It's years and years and years away. I know some people that work in this field, but we're going to get there. Maybe it's 15 years, maybe it's 20 years. But when it gets there, a 1 gigawatt thermal fusion plant could produce 2 to 5 tons of gold annually. Okay. So now you've got lab gold, right? Which is like lab diamonds. It's not here, but it's out there. It is a threat and eventually to gold's, role in the financial world. Then speaking of mining places that are hard to do, inside the ocean, in the oceans of the world, there are 5.3 million tons of gold. That's 25 times the current above ground supply. We're not there yet. We will get there someday. When we do, the whole gold story changes. It's same with robotic mining. Same with another really cool thing that they're actually working on and is gonna happen. Near Earth asteroid mining. 62.7 million tons of gold in near-Earth asteroids, 290 times current supply. And again, not today, not tomorrow, but out there, right? We've already been exploring this idea and have found gold on asteroids. So
Indeed, and actually, Tim, I'm trying to remember who the name was, but there was a Joe Rogan interview that I listened to where he had interviewed the CEO of a space mining company, and he talked exactly about what you're talking about, mining near Earth asteroids for critical minerals. I was blown away at how far along that already is. I thought that this was more science fiction. It's closer to reality than we think.
Oh yeah. So
Absolutely.
I mean, and then looking at the Bitcoin gold relationship, Harvey and his team came up with. Um, Gold's been around for 5,000 years. We've got a track record, and Bitcoin's only 17 years old. Here's a big one, right? And this is why the idea that Bitcoin is an effective market volatility or inflation hedge doesn't hold water with me. Gold has or that it'll be used as a currency anytime soon. Gold has 15% annual volatility. That's a little bit more than the dollar, but not much more. Bitcoin's is 60 to 80%, depending on the time frame. So multiple 70% drawdowns. It's tough to have a currency that could decline in actual value, in local value, by 70%. So that's just a couple things. But now the unique threat analysis for Bitcoin, the big one that we all think of, Ryan, and then again, this is just stuff to think about. And if you find your way to the site, you'll be fascinated by it all, as I am. Quantum computing attack is the one we all think of. Wow, the quantum computers, they can come in and they can just absolutely crack Bitcoin. And that's true. You need cryptography capable of 8.56 million physical qubits plus 2,330 logical qubits. Right now, Willow, which is the fastest, can only do 105 physical and 1 logical. So we're a ways away. Also, by the time the quantum computers get to the point where they can crack Bitcoin, Bitcoin will have actually moved on to a quantum computer frame. So it will be, that's not as likely as we thought. But here's one that nobody talks about, nobody thinks about, and this is extremely possible. It's possible right now. Okay. A 51% attack. This is a major threat to Bitcoin. This could destroy Bitcoin if somebody pulls this off. Harvey and his team estimate that this costs $4.6 billion in hardware. Data center cost is going to be $1.34 billion. Weekly electricity is $0.13 billion. So, several millions a week. The cost of a 1 week attack is going to be about $6 billion. It's about 0.25% of total value of Bitcoin. However, if you get to the point, and this is apparently not that hard to do for a nation state, you and I couldn't do it, obviously. Mm-hmm. Well, maybe if we linked our computers together, right?
But I do have a few of them. So
yeah, okay, right. I mean, we got a couple around here. I've got some old laptops in the in the shed we could hook up. So anyway, but if you can get to the point, and again, not easy, but a nation state could do it. An entity that controlled 51% of network hash power could flood the network with fraudulent transactions, destroying, eliminating Bitcoin's value. Now, imagine, why would you do that? Well, A, you'd wipe out a whole bunch of net worth in the Western world. B, suppose you shorted ETFs and futures, which have 60 billion of daily volume before the attack. So you've spent 6 billion, Bitcoin goes to zero. You've made a lot more than this. This is a very, according to Campbell and his team, this is a very serious, understated, under-discussed risk to Bitcoin's long-term volatility. So I've said all along, one of my biggest reasons for not being the long-term Bitcoin bull, I mean, if it's a trading asset, fantastic, but when a government decides to crush it, it's crushed.
So the one thing that I will push back on a little bit here, and I don't know what the future holds, but the 51% attack has been a potential scare for Bitcoin since its inception. This is not new. This is something that has been talked about over and over and over and over again, and it has never materialized. Now, I know you're saying, well, it could in the future if a nation state gets together compute power and all of that. But just on the flip side of this whole thing, it's all true, but on the flip side of this whole thing, this has been a long-standing Bitcoin concern that really has not materialized.
Okay. Granted, it has not, and I look at it as like kind of a nuclear option thing. It's
Yeah.
not, we have a substantial Bitcoin reserve, and we get into an actual declared conflict with China. It'd be one of the first things they did. Okay. Anyway, it's a potential threat. I'm not saying that this is going to happen today. In the research, the good professor and his team have just looked at the gold market, the Bitcoin market, and raised some very interesting points worth thinking about. So now, anyway, I sent you a link, Ryan, also to a volatility hedging paper, but we're not going to get into that because otherwise we'll run out of time.
Okay. But I did put both of those links in the chat, and I think producer split them. So if you need them again, producer, if you wouldn't mind taking care of that for us.
The volatility hedging, I'll come back and cover points if you guys want next week. It's critical on how to set up and time your hedges. Right, a continual hedge is expensive as hell. If you can figure that out using volatility, the exchange traded notes and ETFs, then you can time your hedges much more successfully. The paper goes into that. It's by the good folks at Concretum Research, whose stuff we have read multiple times. Get into it. If you want questions, if you want to discuss it next week, let Ryan know, and we'll get into it. But we have a big event today, Ryan, and this is a big event for pro users. We finally got the dev team to add Piotrowski F scores to the search capability of the Pro scanner. So Ryan, I see he's got Pro up. Can we pull the scanner up, Ryan?
Yeah, we can. Sorry, I'm trying to arrange come on, computer. I'm trying to rearrange my windows here. Here's what we got. Let's share this tab instead. Okay, so we have a scanner and a details tool. So tell me what we're adding here, Tim.
All right, let's go to Piotrowski F score. Now, I'm going to save the long form explanation. Piotrowski F score is one of the most valuable tools that academia has ever put into the back pocket of retail investors. This takes a lot of the hard number crunching work and distills it down to 9 numbers that cover profitability, liquidity, and efficiency. The higher the score, the more fundamentally strong the company is. The higher the score, the more the fundamentals are improving on top of an already strong base. So 7 and above, this is a fundamentally wonderful company with very little financial risk. So once we take the universe of stocks, I think we screened this down last night. We went from over 4,000 stocks down to just like this small handful of stocks. But so if we take that down, Ryan, to Piotrowski F score of over 7, let's just take a look at some of the companies that are there. Let's sort this by Piotrowski F score. A 9 is a perfect score. And look at who's there. Right, you've got Antero Resources, Charter Communication, NFIT.
ASML.
Yeah, ASML. And if so you've got some great companies, and these are companies where the fundamentals, and here's an interesting one, right? UPS is on here. Now, UPS has been in the headlines as this, things have gone bad. They stopped doing business with Amazon. You've got the China problem. You've got the tariff problem. But in spite of all that, this company's sitting here and their balance sheet is strong. They're producing cash flow. So it's actually a strong company that's just sitting, kind of hanging around out there. Let me just change one thing here because I had set the whole screen up and look at some of the others. And we've done some work, by the way. If you just limited your universe to companies with, and there's not a lot of them, an F score of 9, the perfect fundamental companies, and you bought those that had positive momentum. And I think when we did it, we used 6 and 12 month momentum, outperforming the market. you beat the markets over time, and you just own all these great companies where you have zero loss of sleep because of you're not going to get up in the morning and find out that they declared bankruptcy or that there was some horrible error in the books and it's gone away. The way F scores are calculated eliminates all of that. So now, Ryan, let's go to trend. Now let's start to look at this like a trader. What we're going to do is we're going to take all the garbage out of your trading universe. Okay. We're going to have you trading a universe that nobody else is trading, which if you don't understand how powerful that edge is, you're missing the boat. If you're trading the same thing everybody else is trading, you're looking at the same data, the same information in the same way. You're trying to get through a very crowded doorway. It's going to be, you're not going to get in on the best of terms. And when it comes time to get out, if it's an emergency exit, rush for the exits, you're going to get slaughtered. So I'm going to create a universe here for you of fundamentally solid companies. So we're going F score 7 and better.
Okay.
On the trend side of thing, long-term trend is going to be a no.
Okay.
Medium-term trend is going to be a no. This stock is going down. Nobody likes it. But wait a minute, buyers are coming in. The short-term trend has reversed up. So now we've got a stock that's out of favor. Market hasn't liked it in a while. The analysts are probably pooping all over it, but the fundamentals are good, and we know that. So by empirical analysis, not by opinions, thoughts, or what some analyst in Muskogee thinks of it. All right. So, but now buyers are coming in, and the short-term trend is starting to reverse. You can catch a long ride, ladies and gentlemen, if you get into a stock that's been in a downtrend that has great fundamentals, and the market begins to re-rate and reprice that stock. Now, we've tested this. It works. It's pretty powerful. Easily exceeds the market's rate of return in both up and down markets in our original testing. We're still doing some more work on it. But we took this universe of thousands of stocks. We get down to 23 stocks, right?
Yeah. And we actually are at 22 right now. UPS is at the top of the list, which you just spoke about. Also, I noticed that Fortinet and Charter are the next two here. Both of these charts look pretty good. This Charter one actually looks like this is going to curl up off of a double bottom. Yeah. It's got some pretty good targets higher here. So
Charter it's got great fundamentals. I know cable TV, nobody cable cutting, snip. Well, as long as old guys like me are around, there's people paying for cable. More importantly,
I still pay for cable.
I pay for it. It's too convenient. I don't need all that. And besides, by the time we added up all the streaming services that
you
we
were
might
just
need
at the same price.
I was at the same price.
Yep.
And our cable networks gives us Hulu and Disney and all that other stuff on top of it. So I'm a big, I still like cable, but it's the broadband business and some of the other businesses associated with Charter. Someday we're all going to come in, and after years of talking about, Charter's boring, who cares, cable, blah, blah, we're all going to come in, and this thing's going to get bought out at a massive premium everywhere it is, because some private equity firm is going to do a huge capital raise and be sitting there going, what's a really great business producing tons of cash, strong balance sheet, I can exploit the runoff of the one business while building the other. What's a business like that? Well, Charter absolutely fits the bill. It's a huge market cap. So, but $38 billion. So this ain't no small deal, no. But at some point, I think it gets done. If you look, Enphase is on there. They make the inverters that go into solar networks. And I completely understand. We're never going to use solar power again. It's the worst idea in the entire history of the world. I can't believe we thought that would work. Except it doesn't. It gets better all the time. And while we're still going to use a lot of natural gas over the short to intermediate term, solar is going to continue to be the fastest growing power source in the world. That you're going to use a lot of inverters. Enphase is the biggest player here. So the stock is at the end of a downtrend. People are starting to creep back in and go, well, wait a minute. We're still using that stuff. It didn't go away because of the election. The dynamics changed. And I've said all along, we need to get rid of the tax credits and let's see what it really does. But on an institution on a distributed energy level, it's still here and it's not going away.
Yeah.
So Enphase may be making that crucial turn. And then Mattel has taken huge hits because you know where most of Mattel's toys are made, right? China, Vietnam, the Asian nations. So they got hammered by tariffs. It's slowly but surely working itself out, and you know, your 7-year-old daughter or granddaughter doesn't really care that the price of Barbie went up 30%.
Nope.
She wants Barbie. And it's the same with GI Joes and Matchboxes and whatever the hot toy is. That it went up. Hey, dig deep, Grandpa. So, um,
I'd love to hear one of your kids tell you that or one of your grandkids tell you. That would make my day.
Oh yeah, I mean, I guarantee you the oldest one would. Oh yeah, she does. She's type. When she was little, she was like 3 or 4 years old, and she was in the back of the car, and they're driving down the road in Bonita Springs, Naples area, Florida, and she looks out the window and she says, "Mommy, where are the donut shop on this road?" She says, "I don't know." She says, "Call Papa, he'll know." Because she knew she could rely on me to dig deep and get the donuts.
Kids figure stuff out, man. They're smart.
They figure stuff out. Fluor is on here too. Now this is a pretty cool one. Fluor is an engineering company, of course, major.
We talked about this as being a potential infrastructure play.
Well, it's always an infrastructure play, but it's an AI infrastructure play.
I'm sorry, an AI data center infrastructure play. We talked about this one.
Absolutely, they're doing huge projects, energy solutions, urban solutions. But they're in energy transitions. They're in decarb, carbon capture, renewable, waste to energy, hydrogen, nuclear power, all of which is going to get into AI demand. But you're also going to have cities and towns and airports and all sorts of stuff growing up around data centers. Data centers will be increasingly built in areas close to energy sources. Large solar fields, the Permian Basin, the Marcellus shale field in Appalachia. So more, not you're not flying into LaGuardia to get to them. Let's put it that way. So you're going to have cities and towns, and so you've got apartment demand, you've got plumbing systems and energy systems, and all this stuff that has to be built. Fluor is going to be a player in all of that. So this, sitting here, God, boring. Engineering company, who cares? Look at this. They missed earnings back in August. Stock fell quite a bit. It's sitting here, just kind of in the doldrums, but the fundamentals are fantastic and buyers are starting to come in. So if this stock re-rates, it re-rates a lot higher from here. So that's you're building this universe of stocks that could be re-rated because the fundamentals are great. And if they start coming back into favor, they could fly just a lot higher.
Tim, let me ask you a question here from Jay from our chat. He says he's buying the crap at 52-week lows. That's not my style. Too many sellers above any move.
Well, here's the thing about buying the crap at 52-week lows. They've been telling me not to buy the crap at 52-week lows for 40 years. Okay. If you get the fundamentals right, the crap at the 42-week lows reverses. I'm thinking here in this stuff more like an investor or a longer-term trade frame, right? Mm-hmm. You're right. If you're a short-term trader and your time frame is like today to 6 weeks, buying 52-week lows is a very dicey game.
Sure.
Okay. However, if your time frame's out a little bit longer, then you're buying 52-week lows as they're showing signs of price reversal. Okay. Then it's a much more higher probability situation. And in this instance, you're seeing signs of a price reversal. We've now established a short-term positive trend.
And to be clear, that's what we're doing by using these trends, right? By saying that it's not in a medium or a long-term trend, uptrend that is, but it is in a short-term trend. We're actually looking for those stocks that are turning around and using the F score to remove the junk.
Yeah, no, that's exactly correct. So we're not just buying all 52-week lows because a lot of those are going to be garbage. They're going to zero. We don't want to own those. great fundamentals and have moved up off the lows and have established a short-term positive trend. If it keeps going, and again, UPS, if you kept buying the lows, Jay, it did keep going lower. It's showing positive trend in here. We're not buying the lows. We're buying as it starts to move up off of the low.
Okay.
Okay. So that's, look, and use it, don't use it. It doesn't matter to me. But it's useful information. It's a solid strategy. It's the old thing of it can be tested, it must be tested. Well, we tested it and it works, but not in that extreme short-term time frame. But a combination of out of favor, starting to catch a bed with excellent fundamentals can be a winning combination, and it's worth considering for in a search for trading setups. So there we go.
And by the way, a lot of these stocks here do pay dividends too. So just by simply holding it, you're going to get paid on that as well while you're waiting for that turnaround. Okay, yes. Tim, was that it? Do you have anything else?
That's going to be it for tomorrow. But we've got a lot more to talk about today. Some of the stuff that we got added to Pro just over the last few days is really strong and really worth considering. Anyway, do go to Campbell Harvey's webpage. Check out his papers. He's got some fascinating stuff on DeFi and Bitcoin that I think you guys would do well. And no, the Orioles couldn't go to the World Series. Buying never came in on the Orioles this year.
Well done. Oh, that was good. Yep. Right. The buying never came in.
Hey guys, thanks for everything. Great being here again. We will see you next week. And Ryan, you and I will be doing a lunchtime thing on Thursday.
Yep.
So
tomorrow
we'll have some more thoughts. Have a great week, everybody.
All right, Tim, really good stuff as always. Much appreciated. That is Tim Melvin. We will check in with him again next week. And as he mentioned, yes, Tim and I will be doing a webinar for pro users tomorrow on probably going to be diving in on how you can use this scanner a little bit more with some of the newer fields that our development team is deploying for us. So, okay, really good stuff there. We await 13's arrival, and then we'll go ahead and dive right into these movers. I know we got a half an hour until we open here. We should be able to cover everything here. Some of the news some of the movers on this list don't have any news. We're accustomed to that. We'll see how it goes. 13. Good morning, boss. How you doing?
Hello. Good morning, everybody. Morning, Ryan. I'm doing just fine. It was a pretty fun day yesterday, but looking through some of these movers today and not really seeing a whole lot to dig into. So we'll see what we can get out of some of these names. I don't know what to expect today. It seems like a lot of these runners that we were seeing this morning are really coming back in pretty quick.
Yeah.
And the landscape is changing. So not sure how many of them are going to be really good this morning, but you know what? That's not going to stop me from going over them.
Okay, that works for me. We'll start here with XBIO, if that's all right. XBIO, what a move. This thing was $4 yesterday. And yes, not a misprint. This thing printed 25s here in the pre-market. The craziest part, this is moving on no news. No news at all. So it moved yesterday, and it's moving again here in the pre-market. You can see we did retrace about 50% of this pre-market move so far. We find ourselves about 2 points below the VWAP there. I've got VWAP at 1474, current price is at 1283. We are being supported by the 65 EMA. So we'll see if that holds up here, perhaps gives us a move back towards the VWAP, or if it can even reclaim that VWAP and go higher. Quick look around the horn on this one. As far as the short interest goes, 1.61% of the float is shorted on this, and days to cover 1.28. So not crazy there. On average, the stock trades 30,000 shares. That's it. Today, we've traded 27 million. The float here is right where we like to see it. 1.45 million. So that huge move, likely because this is a low floater. 13, do you have anything here on XBIO?
Well, there wasn't any news, but this company is developing immunotherapies for oncology. And they don't really have a whole lot of income. They make less, or they make about a little more than actually $500,000 a quarter, but it's not enough to pull them out of the red. Their balance sheet, with the cash position they have, they should be okay for a short period of time, but they're going to need to raise capital at some point soon. as we were talking about yesterday, with these a lot of these names, they should be raising some capital pretty soon. So it wouldn't be surprising if one of these companies that we're going to go over here today ends up doing that. So just make sure you have that in the back of your head as you're trading some of these. They could hit us with an offering that makes.
I'm going to throw you a curveball. I'm going to
Okay.
throw you a real quick curveball, but it's also going to steel man your point. We've actually already seen that. We talked about it a little bit earlier, but Joby did exactly what you were talking about, 13.
And then guess what happened with ASTS?
They did one too?
They did one too. Now that really hasn't changed their trajectory. They seem to see you can tell probably right about there where they did the offering, but I think that was like for 500 million. Let me see here. It was a high figure.
800 million common stock sale announcement. Yep.
So, and we've had this talk about where AST, I'm sorry, I'm going on a tangent here with this one, but we've talked about how, where this could go. And I think this is, exceedingly high for what the company's actually got going on. Even with all the discussions we had in Happy Hour about this and where this could go, I still think this thing is crazy overvalued, and it's going to have to come back in. And I know that there is going to have some revenue start to show up on their income statements. That really has needed to happen, but then they do this. And I'm wondering, well, maybe that income is not going to look as good as a lot of people think. So I'm a little concerned about them having to do this large of an offering. It makes me think that the revenue that people are expecting in this, or that's going to help this grow into its valuation, is just such a long way off that this is going to be a really good short candidate at some point.
Okay. We did have some news on this, by the way.
Yeah.
AST Space Mobile announced a definitive commercial agreement with Verizon to support space-based cellular broadband across the continental United States. That does look like that's what's driving it here today. Okay.
I still think it's overvalued.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. But okay, nonetheless, sorry about the curveball. Good point there about the offering and all of that. Here is the next one, ATON. This is Alpha Ton Capital. Looks like we did pop in the after hours yesterday and popped again here in the pre-market, but we did make a lower high. This morning, Alpha Ton Capital and subsidiary Syncondo Therapeutics pioneer convergence of digital assets and oncology innovation, exploring tokenization framework for mesothelioma program as it advances towards its Q1 2026 first patient dosing. So they're giving you some economics about this dosing here in Q1 that's driving the stock way higher. Stock's up 160% here today. Here's the trend line that I was kind of talking about. 13, I just kind of guessed that you would do this. I'm going to draw it through the most recent one.
Okay.
We'll just kind of leave it like that. Quick look around the horn on this one. Short interest is 0.98%. So that's pretty negligible. 1 day to cover on that. This is traded, average volume. This on average trades 639,000 shares a day. Today it's traded almost 8 million. Float here is 4.6. So what do you think on this one? Ticker ATON.
It is a letter of intent, so I don't think that has. It's probably not going to have a whole lot of staying power, but let's just kind of ignore that for a moment and just see what the technicals are showing us. And right now, we're down at an area that was previously resistance. Actually, it was a resistance prior to the big move today. It became resistance again during the pre-market here when we started to come up to it. Now we're losing this level. I have it marked off as 14.15. We're losing that level right now. That should take us down to at least the 65 EMA. I think we could still end up drifting lower, but that trend line that you have out there, that's going to be the thing to watch for. And if we make our way back up towards or probably in the regular session, that's what I'd be looking for to break. And if we do get that, I'd be looking at $20 as a potential breakout spot that could take us back up to that 24.40 high that we made in the pre-market. Prior to that, though, I have $23 as a resistance level. So we might run into that first before getting up to that pre-market high. As a matter of fact, I'm sorry, this is after hours that it ran up to that 24.40. And it looks like, we are coming down to that 65 EMA. So I would expect that we, trade lower into the open, and then we'll see what we end up getting here as the opening bell starts to have volume pour this into this thing. We'll see which direction it goes.
Okay. Next stock I have on the list here is going to be NXL. Looks like this is running kind of somewhat recently. Yeah, this started running about 40 minutes ago. Ticker NXL, Nexalin Technology. Let's see what we can get here for the news. This was a penny stock. I don't really see anything here. Last piece of news was some Form 4s from September 30th. So I don't see anything fresh here. It appears this is running on new news. This was a penny stock yesterday that's graduated to dollar territory today. It sure looks like $2 is about to get tested there. 1.52% of the float shorted with 1.06 days to cover. That comes on an average volume of 972,000. Today we've traded 30 million. Float here is about 15 million. What do you have on this one?
Not a whole lot. There's some others that were moving earlier, and they're not moving as much before. But let's just go through this and see what we got here. So this is a company that develops and designs neurostimulation products. Okay. So this may be a play on mental health.
Sancho's saying that there's news. What is it? I don't have it here. Is it? Let me see. Maybe it's not updating here. Let me see. Announces positive clinical results in its Alzheimer's disease with Gen 2 Sync device. So okay, so for some reason I am not picking that up. Did I miss something here?
I don't see it either.
Let me look into that, okay. But I can see that there's news here.
So this has 15 million shares in the float, short interest, negligible. Let's look at the financials. They don't have a lot of cash, but they do burn through it. So wouldn't be surprised if a capital raise is coming here with this one. When's their next earnings? Looks like it's going to be like early November. Yeah, not sure about this one. Let's look at and see what the chart is going to tell us here about this. We are at, there's a big seller in the way at 190. That's okay. I can see why. That's about the top of this consolidation back from April. So that 190 area does look like it's going to be a little bit tough. And as we go higher than that, we get into even thicker portions of supply. So, it's going to need a lot of volume to get to go higher than where it's at. But as soon as it reaches 250, that could be a real tough spot. I think 250 looking backwards. That's a real big area that was previously support. Once that was lost, it became a big area of resistance. It already was tested as resistance, and it did not look back. So if we do come back up to that 250 area, I would expect some big resistance there.
Okay. Good stuff there, NXL. Thank you. And jet fuel, I'm looking into this. The NXL website is down. Interesting. But yeah, let me look at it. There's only so much I can do while I'm on the show here, but let me see if I can get this stuff reported and figure out what's going on there. All right, next here we've got ACXP. This is Accurix Pharmaceuticals. This did pop in the after hours yesterday. No news. This was reported on September 30th, or the last news was reported on September 30th, that they promised they had a promising outlook and a buy rating. Stocks moving here in the after hours. It's really kind of come back in the pre-market. It's tried to punch above the VWAP with no success, really. It kind of just peaked above that. And now it looks to be challenging some of these lower EMAs. The next one that I have up here is the 200 EMA at 679. Quick look at the short interest on this one. 1.64% of the float is shorted with 1 day to cover. That comes on an average 100-day volume of 148,000. Today's volume is 13.5 million, and the float is 1.57 million. So maybe we have something here if this can really kind of find its footing. Hasn't done that yet. What do you think on this one, 13?
The most recent news I see on this one is that they had a positive opinion from EMA on a drug that they are developing for use in children with C. diff. And they got a price target to 31. I don't see anything beyond that. I don't know what popped it this morning, but it doesn't look like this price action is really sticking around. Don't like this formation that we got from the after hours going into the pre-market. To me, it looks like this is going to continue lower. There might be some support coming at the 200 EMA value of which I have at 681. But it's continuing to have more and more of a long road ahead of it if it continues to lose levels, and that 200 EMA is the next one that it's going to have to hold up, or we could end up just going right back to where it started down at 435.
Yeah, I concur with your assessment here. This one I probably won't even really look at here today. Maybe we'll kind of cycle through it, but not really interested.
Keep it on the radar just in case it does something. But for now, it doesn't look like it's turning around yet. If it's going to have any kind of turnaround, like I said, that 200 EMA probably going to be one of the only spots or earliest spot that I would think gets support.
Okay, good stuff here. Arnaz is the next one here. This does have news here. They announced the acquisition of Polynoma and a $25 million strategic financing by the subsidiary of CK Light Sciences to form a first-in-class unique immuno-oncology and metastatic prevention oncology company. That's ticker RNAZ. You can see this actually had a wild morning here. This thing went from about $12.50 up to 32. We're back down here at 18, but more concerningly, I suppose, we did try to bounce off of the 9 EMA, recapture the VWAP, very, very short-lived, and we ended up losing the VWAP again. We actually just now lost the 15 EMA. I have the 65 EMA next as a support level down. That value is at 1502. We'll see what we end up getting here. Quick look around the horn on this one. 7.04% of the float shorted with 5.59 days to cover. So maybe there's a little bit more of some squeeze action here in Arnaz. We'll have to see. On average, stock trades just shy of 87,000 shares. That's its 100-day average. Today, we've done just shy of 5 million. And the float here, micro float, 833,000 shares in the float. So real low. What do you think on this one, 13? Think we got a low floater here?
Well, it looks like the float is really low, and it could move around pretty easily. I was just looking at what they have in the pipeline here to see if there's anything there of interest. But, this is mostly revolving around different types of cancer, solid tumors, melanoma, pancreatic cancer, and the like. But it looks like their melanoma cancer vaccine is the furthest along, already having entered phase 3. But at their current cash burn rate, they probably only have about a quarter at the most, maybe 2. Before they're going to have to raise capital. So there's another capital raise coming here pretty soon, in my opinion. Is it going to be today? Maybe. Don't know if that's the case or not. I mean, it could be. Just keep that in mind if you're going to trade this. They could raise capital. We have been seeing a lot of capital raising happen, and this is the time to do it. So wouldn't be surprised if this one falls in line and does that as well. They've already got the float right where it needs to be in order to raise capital. So that's, unless they do some kind of private placement, I think that's the next step for this company.
Okay. 13, do you have any others on your list that you want to talk about that I can kind of just go to, or should I just keep rolling down the list?
I was also went over XBio and ATO, but I think we already talked about those.
Yeah, we talked about those two already.
Yeah.
Just a couple of more here. I guess I can just kind of run through these here real quick. UPC also on this list. This actually traded back above 14 and has been cut in half since then. Boy, I tell you what, some of these moves not looking great. Big pops and followed by big drops.
Everything too.
On a lot of them, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't see anything here. Last piece of news here was for September 3rd on UPC. If we take a quick look around the horn on this one, pretty negligible short interest here too. 0.23% of the float shorted with 1 day to cover. That comes on an average 100-day volume of 117,000 shares. Today we've done 15 million. Float's 15 million. Got anything here on this one?
Oh, no, sorry. I was looking at Data Vault because apparently that one is still on, continuing its move. Which
okay, I can do that next. That's DVLT, right?
Yeah, but as far as this one goes, I only see that
we'll go back to that.
Yeah, there was news like back in early September, and I haven't seen anything since. Float is, it's 15 million, so not as low as we'd like to see, but still low nonetheless. Financials, I don't think I have a real good read on them unless I'd have to go to annual. Let's see if I have anything there. Loses about 10 million a quarter, it looks like, or a year. I don't know about UPC. I don't have enough information on this one to have a real opinion, but this is what a company that distributes and manufactures traditional Chinese medicine. It's another one that could be a reverse split. I'm sorry, not a reverse split. To do an offering.
Mhm.
I really don't know enough about this one. Sorry, I don't have a better opinion on you.
It's okay. It's okay. We've got a list of some pretty crazy movers here.
Yeah.
I don't recognize a lot of these either. Just kind of looking through to see if any of these have news.
What was the one you wanted to look at? Data vault?
DVLT. You want to just do that one next? I think there
Sure.
are some other folks that were
Yeah.
actually, there are some folks that own this, but there are probably
Yeah.
some other folks that were looking to see what's going on. Here is DVLT. Was there something specifically here?
I mean, it seems like they've had a string of good news all week.
It sure does.
This one thing after the other. And now today they've announced that they've expanded into sports and esports through strategic partnerships. You know, I'm starting to wonder, what exactly is this company going to end up doing? It seems like anybody that's done more that knows about this or owns it, maybe you've done a lot of research, so you know what's going on with this, but what is their ultimate goal here? What do they want to be? I guess is what I'm wondering, because I'm seeing different kinds of things that they do, and just wondering, do they want to have their fingers in everything, or is this going to be just monetizing blockchain data? What is the whole business here for this company? Because I'm trying to lock that down.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is to that. So.
Okay.
All right. Are there any other stocks that you want to take a look at here? CRML, we talked about this one recently, right?
Critical metals? Yeah, it looks like that one
the,
sold off and then now it's trying to recover.
Yeah, this was one from Monday's list. Yesterday, as 13 just mentioned, spent all day selling off. Today, however, it looks like it's curling higher here. So maybe we can use some of the previous levels set on Monday, October 6th as potential levels. We'll see if it gets back to 14. That looks like a significant resistance area there. I guess I can do a quick check on the short interest on this one. 17%. This actually does have some short interest. 17% with 1.3 days to cover. So we'll see if this gets juiced here today.
Yeah, I think you're right about Monday, and the Monday pre-market price action. Maybe even Friday's after hours price action we can lean on. But that low from Monday, I think I'd mark that off. The low from yesterday, I'd mark that off. And let's see, the high in the pre-market, I think I'd also look at that, as well as the where the gap fills from Monday all the way up at about 14. Those would be the levels I'd be interested in right now for CRML to trade around.
Okay. Good stuff there. All right. We normally don't do this, but it seems like a lot of people are looking at this Buru, which is a penny stock. You don't see it on the list here because I'm filtering out penny stocks. But this did ramp yesterday. Looks like this is ramping again here in the pre-market. We didn't have anything new here, but reported yesterday they acquired the remaining equity of the Orbit SRL to lead the defense grade SaaS market for $12.5 million. Looking at the short interest here, 5.56% of the float shorted, 1 day to cover, comes on an average 100-day volume of 65 million. Today we've done 172 million. Float on this is 132 million. It's a penny stock. I'm staying away from this. Had a question here. Let's see if I can find it. Buru's still running. Do you think it's viable for a longer hold, or is it going to crash out? I have no way of knowing that. I don't have any thought on this company, but I would open the floor to 13 and anyone else.
It's got no revenue yet, so this isn't something that I'm particularly interested in right now. I want to know more about it too, because if it's it sounds like it's doing a lot of different things, but the description of the company is that it's involved in high brightness blue laser technology for various applications, whether it be medical, military, other applications, 3D printing, welding, things like that. I don't know anything beyond that. It looks to me like the float is a little bit thick for this one, being a penny stock. I'm wondering if at some point there's going to be a NASDAQ compliance letter getting sent to this, unless that's already happened. So there's some accounting and some financing that certainly needs to be done here, and I expect that to happen at some point going forward. I just couldn't tell you when right now because, like I said, I don't know enough about this company. But it seems like this is going to have to raise some capital at some point.
Okay. Another one on the movers list here that we were taking a look at. I actually put this on the screen when we were talking to Tim about gold and gold mining earlier. This is ticker GLDG. The name of the company here is Gold Mining. This ramped yesterday, ramping again here in the pre-market. We actually just lost the VWAP on this one, unfortunately. Would have loved to have seen that kind of stay above the VWAP. I don't have anything new here except for the headline from Monday about the shares of precious metal stocks trading higher as gold and silver gain amid the U.S. government shutdown, which would increase the safe haven demand. So looks like this is just kind of moving with the rest of gold. But we are getting a little bit of a spike here today in the pre-market. 1.01% of the float shorted here with 1 day to cover. This comes on an average volume of 1.3 million. Today we've done 1.2 million. Floats a very thick 186 million. I don't know if I'm going to be trading this one here today. I doubt it, but that's what's going on with this.
Well, all right.
All right. And then I think there was another, I just wanted to mention this BTQ. This is one of the big movers yesterday. This moved in the after hours, moving again here in the pre-market. Just be very careful about trading this one. We'd use some of the previous levels, but okay. That's what's going on here. BTQ. All right, 13, what do you want to do? I'm actually going to flip over, I think, to the main workspace here, basically just waiting for the market to open.
That's fine. Whatever chat wants to take a look at while we wait the next 5 minutes.
Chat, do you want to take a look at anything? Do you want 13 to break something down? 13, I'm just going to pull the curtain back here. I'm trying to be sneaky about it, but it is completely failing. I really have to go to the washroom. So okay. I'm going to try and pull up a stock here for you to talk about it while I do that. Let me know, folks, what you want to take a look at here today.
Yeah. Lion has a relationship with Peru. I mean, look, a lot of these names, yeah, they don't have revenue, but not all of them don't. Some of them do. Some of them, they don't need to raise capital. A lot of them do. This one looks like it could be one that is. Okay. Pot could be interesting.
Oh, God. Really?
Is it smelling bad on the
outside? Okay, 13, I'm going to go ahead and put this chart up. We've covered Hoth quite a bit. We did have a huge spike here. I'm going to let you mention this. I'll be right back, I promise.
So it looks like the news from today is that they are expanding their artificial intelligence initiative, and they selected NVIDIA AI Enterprise Platform to do that. And it looks like from the way that this chart has moved this morning, it gave back pretty much that entire pop. That took it up to, what is this, 280, 287. So I guess my question is, are we going to go right back up there? Are we going to, do we shake out all the weak hands? Are we going to go back up and try to recapture that level? I think 180 is one early spot. We're going to get our answer. We're not quite there yet. We're 10 cents away. So that would be the earliest spot that I see. There's really not a whole lot of good price action this morning to drop on. You have to look much further to the left for different areas of support and resistance. So doing that, back in September, we do have a 215 high, blew through that and came right back in today. The price action gets even less as you go further back to the left. And I don't have much data beyond that. So yeah, it doesn't really look like I have a whole lot looking at the 5-minute chart. Let me look at the daily and see what else we got here. Okay, well, this is much better. So so that 215 area is starting to make more sense when you look at a daily chart. 211 looks to be, 210, 211 looks to be a really tough area for the price to hold up. That was rejected there last time. We came up there in September, as I mentioned. This used to be an area of support that was lost back in September of 2023. We did try to get back up there in January. Could not, I think we got one close above it, but then lost that level the next day. So yeah, let's keep an eye on 215. We get back up there, it could be an interesting spot for Hoth.
Okay, good stuff. Really quickly here, I'm just going to mention this. Jet Fuel is asking, how do you get the trading view chart in the BZ chart view? Producer, I appreciate you asking this, but might as well just demonstrate it here before the open. The details tool is the best tool in Pro, bar none. Fight me.
I like it. It's got a little bit of everything.
It's the best tool in here. One of the things that a lot of people miss is that there's a series of sub tabs that's right under the price. And what this does, this has a lot of different features and information in it. One of them is, of course, the chart. But since you asked the question, I would encourage you to explore the other tabs as well, because there's a wealth of information there that ranges from insider transactions to who in the government owns it, as well as key data and short interest. So this is how you get to it. This is how you access it. I'm sure you'll keep using that going forward. Okay. Good question, though. We'll get them answered. We are about to open here, aren't we?
Yeah, about 45 seconds. We were getting asked about Path. That's UiPath. And,
Perfect.
I think we were just getting asked to look at it because it had some pretty interesting price action. Certainly, this has been spending some time trying to recapture the 500-day SMA, but it has not sold off after hitting it twice. It looks like yesterday was once. Today, no, I'm sorry, that was yesterday. So Monday and Tuesday were 2 times that it's been hit so far this week. It was hit last week or tested. I think as long as we continue to hold up here above $14, there's a good chance we may end up just pushing through this. Now, I don't know where this goes. There's a gap fill that could potentially occur here that takes it all the way up to about 18. So that, and there we are, we're open. So that's what I've been looking for with Path is get to move over that 500-day SMA and fill that gap.
Okay. Let's see what we get. Arnaz here.
All right.
The open.
So ATON getting some support from that 65 EMA. Let's see if that has any continuation. NXL trying to hold above that VWAP, but I don't like the way these upper shadows are looking. We may end up losing this 170 area pretty soon. Let's see here.
That was NXL that you were looking at, right?
Yes, sir. Lots of sellers piling up at 180 right now. Some good volume could chew through them. They're hitting it right now. All right, looks like they just took it out, so we might get a reversal here in NXL. XBio, that might also be trying to turn around here. I'm not sure I like the way the volume's looking right now. I don't know if this is turning around. It's trying to, though. It certainly looks like it's trying to. ATOM is still trying to move off that 65 EMA.
Yeah. Here's your XBio.
Yeah.
That I'll be honest, that chart, at least for right now, doesn't look great there. UAMI, I know we've been talking a lot about antimony recently. UAMI on the scanner ripping right out of the gate here is actually above yesterday's intraday high as well. BIAF was getting mentioned. I saw that on the scanner here. Buru back on the scanner. Ant Baru, I suppose. We'll see. Mm-hmm. So I guess here, one thing I will say here is 76-cent pre-market high. Pop above that likely sends it. We'll see.
Yeah, that we could get some. And there's also a bit of a trend line you could draw based on some of these highs we were getting in the after hours in the pre-market to get an idea of where this that breakout might run to. So if you draw a trend line from, let's say the after hours high through the pre-market highs, that should give you a target of about 80, 81 cents, maybe close to 82 if we get that breakout.
Here's the trend line. Took me a while to click on the right ticker 13, but I got it there for you.
Yeah, so if we get that breakout, I think that's where we could it could initially run to.
Okay. All right. Seeing some sweeps in some of the bigger tech names. All calls here. Tesla looks like they're buying it into this pull. They're trying to hold the intraday low here, I think, on Tesla. I'd actually like to see a more firm setup there. Also notice that there was some NVIDIA call sweeps here. We'll check in on NVIDIA real quick. NVIDIA, okay, trading back up here. 189 was your intraday high from yesterday. See if we can break that down. 189 and then 190. The two clear spots on the chart happen to be at round numbers that I see there on NVIDIA.
NXL looks like it's trying to hit this seller at 195. Really big amount of supply there. If they can move through it, we're going to go over 2. Let's See, ATON, that lost its 65 EMA. XBio heading lower. ACXP down to the 200 EMA. Sorry.
Real quick, Marcus, you're saying my Webull is super laggy. I think you're talking about the actual platform itself, right? I know we talk about Webull stock here, but just so I understand correctly, your platform is laggy. 13, are you seeing that at all?
I'm not having problems.
Okay. So maybe that's isolated there. Marcus, let me know if you get that resolved. I hope it's all right. Here's what your bull chart looks like, by the way. No bueno. D-Pro getting mentioned by several of you folks in the chat. This has been a recent runner. Dragonfly, okay, back at 1150 here. Good mention here on D-Pro. You know, if it holds this area, I think 12 is probably on deck, right? If it can hold this pre-market high without breaking back down. I've got VWAP there at 1134, so maybe if we test that VWAP, there's some entry there.
1275 looks real interesting to me. So if we get through 12, that's where I would think resistance is about 1275, 1285.
Okay, real quick here, Jaywalker say, first of all, it's great to see you again, Jaywalker. Welcome back. Webull has been horribly laggy for me the past week or two. Okay, interesting. Crimp Biscuit said I had issues with toss. You know, I had an issue this morning where my charts did not resolve immediately, but that lasted 5 seconds, and I just kind of thought it was a blip. Also, good question here from the producer. Did anyone get an explanation on the hood outage?
I will say that there is some information that's lagging right now with Webull. And remember, yesterday I was saying that I was getting some really weird, and I wasn't sure if it was Windows notifications or if it was Webull itself. But like minutes after I had already done an order, I was getting notification of it, and I was like, I already did that.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I'm glad that you were calm about it. That would have freaked me out. Like, oh my God, is there more orders that I didn't mean?
Yeah, and as the first time I did, I was like, no, I'm pretty sure I closed that. And so I looked it over and I was like, yeah, I did. Okay, so there's just a little bit of effery happening there. We're getting mentioned by Mo.
Yeah, we're getting straight up out of the gate. Well, I guess it wasn't time to short yet.
No, guess not. That was funny.
I've conceded that whenever we do end up shorting some of these quantum names, there's no way I'm going to get the top. Like, I would have to be the luckiest MFer alive to get the top.
XBio is halted to the upside.
Oh, that's okay. So it's right back. This is basically halted just shy of that 65 EMA. It looks like. Yep. Okay, so maybe just a kind of a regressive bounce there, I guess. Rushing back to the mean bounce.
Looks like Aunt Baru is still trying to get going here over that trend line, but second green candle here, and it's still pushing up.
Brian says, I'm short Rigetti. And then an NSFW comment. Rocket Lab also appearing on the scanner. This popped right out of the gate.
Because we're launching rockets. And we're going to keep doing it.
Tell you what, that space theme, one of your better thematic calls of all time, 13.
Oh, yeah.
There's been so much, and it's lasted for so long off of that.
I don't think we're finished.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like that based on the news flow. You're right about that.
Yeah, I think we're going to be seeing. I mean, because we joked about the prospect of data centers in space, but I'm hearing a lot less laughter about it now.
Yeah, that's true.
Just saying.
BQ halted to the upside here. This was a Chinese pump and dump yesterday, wasn't it?
That's
what we concluded.
That's the China Chewy.
The China Chewy. Okay, that's right. That's right. Wow, lots of pulls out there. PayPal pulling. That's down to lost 74.
There it is.
What happened on Baru?
Baru going right to the trend line.
Sure is. Look at that. GSRT gets a new symbol tomorrow. What is it, Jay? Do we know what it is?
Let's see, because this GSRT is the hold on, GSRT. That's the one that I'm pretty sure that I was talking about earlier that we traded when it popped, before it popped all the way up to 1460. And there we go. Now we're right at the trend line and through it. It's still going.
All right, looking at the market here, S&P at the lows, NASDAQ at the highs, so kind of bucking that. Dow also at the lows. Looks like we have a bit of a split market here. The S&P is still in the green, or at least the futures are still in the green here. They're barely holding on, but they are moving to the lower end of the range.
GSRT is merging with Terra Innovatum, and they are changing their ticker to NKLR. They just had the shareholder approval yesterday.
Okay. NKLR. There you go. Thank you, Jay. And thank you, 13. What happened to 13? Why did he just leave? I don't know what happened there, 13. But
I don't know either.
I added you right back. Was producer messing with us, maybe?
I have no idea, but I'm always going to point the finger at Restream.
Got my eyes on you, producer. Got my eyes on you, producer.
All right. RNAS looks like that's starting to get going here. We have a trend line here as well that we could draw, and it looks like I don't think that trend line is going to really work out. We did kind of pop above it, but we went sideways, so I'm not sure I'm going to really put a lot of weight into that. But RNAS is halted to the upside.
Okay, what I will say about RNAS here, this is the trend line that you had, right?
Yeah.
From that high.
Yeah.
Because honestly, if you did this, it's all about how you draw your lines, right? If you did this,
the
halt candle looks more appealing. I'm going to leave this on here and just see how it resolves out of the halt on RNAS. Huge range though, up to 32, so it's possible that this keeps rolling.
Baru ran to 85 cents and it is coming back in. So
we popped that high, ran to 85 and pulled. That seems like that's normal trading action.
Yeah, and I mean, using that trend line as a take profit area, that worked out really, really well.
So Rigetti, I do see some puts getting bought into this move higher. Jay, we talked about this yesterday, right? You have to short these names when they're up, right? You can't be positioning yourself when the stock's already started to sell off. So let me ask you, are you looking into any maybe small regression back to the mean short trades here on a spike up in any of the quantum names? I've got Rigetti Spaghetti here on the in focus, but really any of these names.
Lion, that trend line rejected the price easy.
You guys are mentioning SOPA is halted. That was another mover from earlier this week, wasn't it? SOPA, yeah, that was. Or was that last week? There was one recently. I'll figure it out here when I look at the chart.
NAC is probably going to come over. This one, this one and TMQ have been getting some good movement today. I don't think TMQ has been as good as NAC, but this one looking like it's trying to hit $2. It hit it this morning in the pre-market, trying to get over that again.
Good mention from our chat here. Ragnar, Poet, P-O-E-T. We actually talked about this one in the pre-market as a stock to watch here. We are trading up to the after hours high. I had that value at 932. Looks like a 9 test is where it was rejected right there.
Baru coming back up to that trend line. We're going to need to see some better volume to get through it and stay above it this time. Everybody wants this. We want to see that. We want to all see this stay above the trend line and act as support. But we're going to need some better volume to get through it.
I'm just going to cycle through some of these. I don't have a great setup yet to look at. No new trades, not in anything at the moment.
One to keep an eye on is ATON. It's trading beneath VWAP and the 65 EMA. I'm not sure I'm too excited about it right now, but this bottoming action that it's putting on is pretty interesting here. So let's see if we can get a turnaround here pretty soon. It has to be within this candle or the next one. Otherwise, it's likely going to go lower.
Jacob here is asking for my thoughts on IREN, and I hate to be facetious about this, but my thoughts on IREN are, geez, can I get a time machine? Because there were a whole bunch of people that were on this one. I didn't even really kind of give it a secondary look, and what a move. What a move we've made off 46. Now we're trading sideways here, so I would imagine if we continue to do this, eventually we're going to end up popping or breaking down from this area. Here's a trend line that I see on IREN, a near-term trend line. This kind of gives us an upside target if we can get out of here. We'll see.
NXL is trying to come back up and recapture VWAP. A little bit more volume expansion, and we could start to push towards 2. Just like we did in the pre-market, but it doesn't look like they're getting that volume quite yet. Still a lot of sellers at the 175 and up area.
Jonathan mentioning the IWM is down. That might not be great for some of our small cap stocks here. MBIS is ripping. Palo Alto 215 prints. Apple is higher. Tenzin, you were trading Apple. Tenzin, if you're here, I don't know if you're here. Didn't say good morning yet, but you were trading Apple calls yesterday. I wonder what you think on Apple here today. Just curious.
Palantir is still having a bit of a difficult time staying up or trying to get back over 185. Hasn't been successful since it lost that level on Friday. Continues to get rejected. Meanwhile, PLTZ, the inverse ETF, that's kind of moving up nicely right now.
Okay, so 13, I know, did you take a starter on that PLTZ?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think that there were some other folks looking to buy this as well.
Yeah, I started just, nibbling on it yesterday.
Okay.
Just, not a real big position because, these things have been killing shorts. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm kind of just like, tiptoeing into this thing right now. So I don't get hurt if I'm wrong. But with all this topping out sentiment, I'm just kind of curious if this is going to work. So started taking a little bit of a nibble here on PLTZ.
I'm with you, and I too have nibbled. So I am long a starter position here, ticker PLTZ. That is a Palantir short via the 2x short ETF. My average price on this buy 706. So this is my first leg in. If it goes down, we'll add to this. I got to imagine that if we really kind of break through 650 on this, that'll probably be my stop. Basically, and I'd like to know how you feel about this. First of all, vote in our poll. Thank you, producer, for getting this rolling here. I'll go vote here in a sec. 13, I'm curious, with what you were just talking about how some of these folks that are trying to short some of these high flyer names are getting smoked. What's your plan if this starts to move lower? Just because it's a 2x levered product, it's going to go through the decay anyway. What are you looking at here as a potential move if it goes against you?
Well, I'm still just watching Palantir because if that's going to continue to come in, then I'm going to want to be in PLTZ. But I think I would maybe just take my loss on PLTZ if we started to get back up over 190. I think that's my pain threshold is going to be because again, I don't have a whole lot of this, so that I can tolerate more upside in Palantir. But that's kind of where I'd be looking at. I just don't want to have this end up being a scallop. By the way, NXL is breaking out.
Okay, let me put that on screen. Real quickly here, I just got a message in the chat that it looks like my chat stopped, and it says to activate. Is your chat working on Restream?
No, it's not.
Okay,
it says
so
to enable channels, click here. So
yeah,
I guess I am a little bit kind of thinking that whatever that problem was I had earlier was Restream.
Was Restream. Okay, I paged our tech guy to come take a look at that. There we go. Okay. Looks like it's back. I see it now. Okay, Jeremy said I started PLTZ as well. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at with this, with the pain threshold. So if it turns into where the pattern is in PLTR is resolving into a scallop formation, then I don't want to be in that because that just means we're going to go further into 200. But if this is sort of double topping, which is what I'm thinking it is doing, then we're at a good spot to start trading this PLTZ.
Okay. So. All right. Long on a swing trade.
Yep. All right,
just a starter, though. We're not going to add size to this until we feel good about it.
So 2 trades for me today, NXL and Baru. Even though I talk shit on it, I still trade it. But that trend line is still holding up. Look at the rejection there now. Look at that rejection there on this current candle.
On which one? Sorry.
Baru.
Sorry, I'm getting blown up by a bunch of other stuff here. So.
Hope you made the run up to 48 and we're getting. I mean, hey, anybody that did, congratulations. All right, what else is getting some movement here? Looks like a lot of this, bullish movement is starting to lose a little bit of steam. ATON, man, this thing did not turn around. Going down to the 200 EMA. RNAS still going sideways.
I'm actually going to add PLTR here real quick.
Gotta love a good Broadcom swing. Hey, Broadcom is I'm happy with Broadcom. This is one of the ones I was picking up earlier this year when we had the big Liberation Day unwind. That was a big opportunity.
Yeah, it was. All right, real quickly, I do have some exciting news. And it has to do with one of our favorite stocks here, ONDS. Let me get it to load up here real quick.
Oh, is it finally coming down so people can buy more?
That's not. I'm not making that recommendation at all. First of all, it is coming in a little bit from the open. It's down about 1% right now. Did have some news here this morning. Let me see if our news has actually populated it. No, not yet. Ondas to showcase the Iron Drone Raider and U.S. launch of Ondas Capital at the AUSA 2025 in Washington, D.C. So that is a new PR here as of today. Let me see if I can actually get you the date on that. October 13 through 15. Okay, so October 13 through 15. That means Monday through Wednesday of next week, they are going to be presenting at this. And I've got even better news for you on that. Mark your calendars, folks, because next Friday, October 17th, I will be interviewing the CEO right here in the morning. So we will be talking to the Ondas CEO a week from this Friday, October 17th, 8:30 Eastern. Really excited for that.
I don't mean to insult you, but I kind of get the feeling that you're going to be a little giddy like a kid meeting Santa Claus for the first time.
No, I'm going to keep this. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep this as professional as possible because one of the reasons for that is because we keep getting questions here, and you just kind of joked about it. About is this going to be a
no? I didn't. I only joked about it because I know how much you love this and how big of a winner it's been. So I mean, I would be a little bit excited to meet the CEO if I had a mover that was doing me really well.
Yeah, I mean, look, I am excited, but I do want that interview to hit. I want to get the right questions asked. I want you guys to be able to hear directly from the CEO what the plans for the future are and what it looks like. And then I want you folks to be able to make your own decisions on whether or not you think this is a good buy or maybe a good long-term hold. For those of you that are still in it, maybe it changes your mind on that. I want to bring you that information so that you guys can make your own decision. Big time shout out to Zoltan, who's able to secure that.
I'll even throw some questions your way for you to check out if you want to use.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love that.
Baru is holding its VWAP right now. So looking for another potential test of that trend line. But so far, that trend line has been keeping the upside at bay. One thing to watch for with Baru, if this doesn't break over the trend line again and hold above it, is if we lose VWAP for the price to come down and find its footing down around, I would say the high 60-cent area. That would be that looks like that's the best support it's got right now. If we do not get through that trend line.
Okay.
Looks like ATON is trying to turn around after testing that 200 EMA. NXL coming back in. Sorry.
I was just going to say, you hit it before I could even get to it. It looks like NXL was pulling off of that high print that it just made.
Yeah, GSRT, that is still moving up on some low volume, but it's moving up nonetheless. I don't know where this is going to end up going to, because remember, we are going to see a ticker change, and I don't think there's going to be some of the filings have recently shown that there's not going to be as much redemption in this stock as SPACs usually go through. So I think it's like about 24% of the Class A shareholders have elected not to redeem. So that's going to bode well for the company once it's under its new ticker. But I still think there are going to be some redemptions that happen. So there could be some downside, coming with the company once it's finished the merger.
Okay.
ONDS sold the news on the spot.
Yep, that is pulling back here.
Oh, getting asked to look at AMD.
AMD. Let me bring it up.
Oh man. So it's starting to do what we kind of speculated might happen, but it did end up opening yesterday in the middle of that candle. Now it's starting to look like this could be more of a bullish inside candle. Maybe, I don't know about today, maybe tomorrow we see that 227, potentially a move through it. This is getting wild for the stock. And if this does move through 227, I'll think I'll just go out and say it. We may see this move all the way up to 280, 300 over a short period of time. I'm just, that's not advice. That's completely speculative. But I mean, look at the move it just had.
Look at the move it's doing literally right now.
But look at the move it had from Friday last week to Monday today. I mean, all on a one deal where they with a whole bunch of financial engineering and a lot of warrants basically getting handed to OpenAI for free. I mean, this should not be up here, but given the nature of the market, we could just continue to press on, and this could go on a rally.
Okay, we'll see if we get that there. AMD, as this continues to trade up here.
Yeah, so 227 next resistance area from here. That was from Friday. And like I said, if we break over it, we could go on a run with some back and forth obviously happening. But man, this thing is just so extended right now. I would not be surprised if this somehow, or not somehow, but if some way these the investors are like, okay, you know what, we can't really push this thing higher. Let's just give up on it. Hard to say that that's going to happen, but I there's a lot that could pull this right back down.
Yeah, one of the things that I'm saying, like I'm watching this right now, I'm looking at the chart here, I'm looking at this maybe trying to trade up to that 228 and change area, and then maybe even go higher. I am doing, just so you guys know, like I fight the same things that you do. Like I'm looking at this chart, I'm looking at this action, I'm like, buy this, scalp this, couple of dollars seems obvious, but I really don't want to chase this price here.
Mm-hmm.
Tenzin, thank you. I was just talking about you and asking about Apple. Planning to buy the dip in Apple pullback when it hits the 20 EMA again today. Should come back in soon. Okay, I appreciate that.
The 20 EMA, what time frame, or is that a daily? I think you said day, right? 20 days.
He just wrote 20 EMA. Tenzin, I guess clarify the time there. I assume that you meant daily, but you know what happens when you assume. And now look at that AMD pulling off of that. Just that's why you don't chase, because as soon as you buy it, it immediately pulls in your face.
Yeah, very, very extended. And like I said, it could continue to extend further. It's just that that's not really a viable situation, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
I'll look at Deep Pro in just a second. I just want to get an idea of which EMA Tenzin was referring to. Because honestly, the 200-day EMA doesn't look bad at all. I mean, that's down at 222.
NXL pulling back to its VWAP here. So far, it's held it.
Oh yeah, line, it's super extended. And yeah, I mean, they're really, really aggressive, accounting that is happening right now with that company. On the 1 minute chart, okay, so that's much higher up than what I was looking at. That's I have that at 256.26.
And whoever was asking about the ticker XTLB news here, I'm going to try and pull that here for you. I don't know if there was any on this.
All right, so looking at D Pro,
I don't see anything on XTLB. Sorry, 13. XTLB, whoever was asking about that earlier, I'm sorry I lost your comment. Don't see any news on this. Stock's up 50%, 48% on the back of that.
With D Pro, I think I would still kind of lean on the highs that it put in on Friday as a resistance area. You could just make it an even number like 12, but that actual value is 12. So that's what I'd be looking at. And if you look to the left, you can see how that where that resistance area came from. Back in January of last year, this was a support area, $12, that was lost at the end of the year of 2023, and in December they tried to recapture it and it was rejected, and even on after rebounding, it still could not recapture it. So it seems like 12 to me is a pretty big resistance area, and if we do break through it, it's gonna run into another large area of consolidation from 2023 that starts at about 1290 and goes up to I think the real thick parts go up to about 1425.
Okay, that's D Pro.
No, I didn't see that, Jay Rice. The D-SPAC already happened.
Arnaz still pulling back, by the way. So is AMD.
But Jay, isn't this more along the lines of SMR? Did I get that ticker wrong again?
SMR, no. Small.
No, I didn't. I got it right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my understanding that this is so. No, I didn't see the post about how it already happened. I thought that was the de-SPACing that was from the most recent press release was regarding how there was a redemption period that had to be that had to be taken by the by Class A shareholders by a certain point. I think it was over the weekend they had to have that done by. And a good portion of the Class A shareholders, about 24% of them, opted not to redeem. So is that what you're referring to? The shareholders that didn't take the redemption offer, that's it right now? It's all done? Let me know. Because I thought that there was still redemption offers that could be, and you probably have read through the filings more than I have. D-SPAC, look at the chart. Okay, I'm not talking about the chart. I'm talking about the filings. So I'm not worried about the chart. The chart's not going to tell me when D-SPACs are. The filings will, or when the redemptions are.
AMD continuing to pull off its high. That 217.88, it's its VWAP. So if we keep pulling here in AMD, maybe we do get another buy spot there. You guys are mentioning Oklo and SoundHound. Was making some moves here today.
Default's moving, SoundHound's moving. Yeah, I saw that that it got it traded at 860, but there was news associated with that, and there was a filing. Let me pull it up.
SoundHound ripping out of the gate here, by the way. It actually looks like a 20 test is coming. Wow, SoundHound. Wow, SoundHound. Actually, this is a pretty good break. Nice mention here, Kim. Kim, do you have any upside targets on Sound? I know this one gets closely followed by a lot of people. Just wondering if you have any upside target on this. 24-ish, that all-time high? Did this have news or something? Let me see.
There's there's news that came out Monday, but there's also news that came out Friday and Thursday. Thursday news was regarding the pipe investment. This is probably what ended up resulting in that downward move. I don't think that was. And there's a form 425 that goes into this some more that I think is the reason why we ended up getting that pull. But I don't think that was a redemption offer, because that wasn't completed until it was over the weekend. No, I'm sorry, you're right. October 3rd. It was it was the news I was talking about with only 23% of the Class A shareholders opting not to redeem. So that redemption offer period ended, but I don't know that was when the redemptions occurred.
AMD bouncing here. We'll see if it actually takes out the high. Quick little bounce on that. 222 is your AMD price. Rocket's trading higher here. Let's see if there's anything else. PayPal's bouncing back. Netflix is bouncing back. PanW is continuing. Bitcoin 124. Bitcoin having a nice move right now. Ethereum's going with it. Then what about UNH? I know a lot of you folks have been looking at UNH recently. We are almost at that gap fill. We talked about this recently about that gap fill being stage one, and then also the 200-day being above it there, about 400. Here's a look at UNH. Looks like we popped and dropped here, but still holding green by 1.5%. Is anyone still in UNH? Out of curiosity?
ACXP is trying to recover. The Sound, I haven't looked at Sound at all. Let me look at SoundHound.
I did.
Oh, okay. Things up to 20 now. What is the news here with this? Boost customer service at Appevia Cordage. I don't know what that is.
Seeing some more ETHA calls. That's those might be closing orders though on this move back up.
I don't know. This move in Soundhound seems a little squeezy to me.
It does.
Yeah, that's
kind of that's why I was asking for a target earlier too.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll go. Then I'm not expecting any day or whatever that the ticker was changed to something. Not Nikola, but whatever it's changing to. We'll see. Shouldn't be any selling then.
Here's Poet so far holding its VWAP. We'll see if this can crack 9 and go higher on Poet. Kevin says you're still in UNH. Josh and Ja. Okay, so how much more room are you guys giving on your trade? Are you guys looking for that to just fill the gap, or are you going to the 200, or are we breaking out above that? Let me know.
It's hard for me to not like the healthcare space when it's weakest. I mean, it is kind of the weakest sector right now, year to date. Kind of makes me think that next year is going to be a lot better, or maybe a couple of years from now will be a lot better. And it's really a lot of these human sectors that are the most beat up, while the AI sectors are doing really well. So you have telecoms and semiconductors and industrials and all those doing really well. Meanwhile, the worst performing sectors are all healthcare, consumer discretionary, consumer staples, housing. We're all getting left in the dust, folks. Windows update. Is there one?
I didn't have one last night or this morning. By the way, so the NASDAQ had kept pushing higher here. S&P is now reversed, and Dow is trying to pare its losses back as well. So it looks like the market is trying to bounce here. Again, remember, I had that 673.99 as the high for the SPY. That key level, if we end up breaking that. We'll see if we get that here. SPY continuing to trade to the upside.
I know they don't trade off the symbols change, but they do start trading differently. We've seen a lot. I mean, just kind of thinking back to all the different SPACs we had back in 2021 and how almost all of them were worthless. XBio, by the way, trying to get back above VWAP with save a handful of them. Some that come to mind: MP, DraftKings, United Wholesale. Gosh, those are the ones I can just think of off the top of my head. Yeah, it looks like there's gonna be upside in healthcare. The whole sector is absolutely hammered right now.
Here's XBio. I don't know if this is going to really get rolling. I'd really like to see this get back to its VWAP to do that. Oh, God, where's Lulu at? Lulu calls getting bought here today. Still kind of waiting for that October seasonality here in Lulu. I definitely feel like I missed that trade off the sideways trading that it was doing in the 160 handle. Kind of waiting to see if this rolls back over it all. No bueno here today, or it's not. Doesn't look like it's going to do that here today. Don't forget on Lulu, we actually have a gap above that doesn't fill till 200. I think there's a trade here, but really the question is, when is this going to start? Positive seasonality should start in a couple of weeks here, mid-October. That runs positive through December. So kind of waiting for that to line up here for the trade.
Well, and I took some profits on Johnson & Johnson and Medtronic to buy more MRK.
Oh, and that's a long-term position for you, right, MRK?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, Sideshow, that doesn't sound bad at all. I mean, like there's a lot of things that not sure if they're going to hold up or not. It seems like these runs happen and then they just get weak. I mean, look at Baru. Still couldn't get a close above that trend line. Now we're coming down to test the 65 EMA. Hearing that ASTS is coming back in. Okay, well, we've hit 90. This thing is just absolutely crazy. There's
ASTS.
There's no reason for this to be up here. Even with the the news and the mandate from the U.S. government for T-Mobile and all this and that, there's no reason this should be up here. This is just crazy. And I don't believe that the when their next earnings, which I think is in November, is going to show enough of a income that it's going to justify this multi-billion-dollar valuation. I mean, there's a lot of other satellite companies up in this, that have revenue that pay a dividend, and they're not even they're like half this valuation. So this is ridiculous.
Tara's asking, Ryan, are you watching Ondas? Yeah, nothing really to do though. It's just kind of moving lower here. Ondas down by 2.5%. I do have sell orders still at 12 and 15, but I'm just kind of letting that work on its own. Pally might be, is he? We'll take a look at Pally.
I'm not saying short ASTS because you don't want to get taken out behind the woodshed if this thing is going to continue to squeeze.
Well, you're not even going to make it into the woodshed. They're going to take you behind it. That's even worse. I'm joking. I
still had to walk past the door and go behind it. No, this thing. It's going to be. I think this has potential, but not at this valuation. It's over 20 billion. There's other satellite companies that aren't even half that. So you can short it if you want. I mean, what could be interesting here is if this is a good short, you could get a gap fill to the downside. But I don't know that I'd be shorting this because I don't want to get caught in that short squeeze if there is one.
Izzy, what's the Pally news? I don't see anything here in Pro. I don't see anything in my broker.
Is there an inverse? Oh, by the way, Apple just hit a new session high.
13G is what we got yesterday on Pally, but that's it. Is this what you're referring to? You'll have to let me know.
I'm just looking to see if there's an inverse ETF for ASTS, but there's only a 2x long. That's ASTX. Yeah, just wanted to see if there's a way to play this to the downside without having to short anything or buy puts. Well, yeah, that's what I was saying, right, Ray? You could just buy puts, but I was just looking to see if there's any other way that you could play this to the downside without having to buy puts. All right, so what is kind of setting up for us here?
And whoever said this, looks like today is Penny's Appreciation Day. Indeed, it does. Most of the top stocks here on the relative volume scanner are, in fact, those penny stocks. Honorable mention there to NXL. ACXP is also on there. This did hold its 200 EMA. We'll see if it actually bounces from here.
Oh, the other time. Libertas. I don't know that we can get that ticker up on our chart if it's on the TSX. So, Ryan, do you know if we can get Quantum Emotion Corp? If that's, let me
QNC is the ticker. Let's just find out.
It's on the TSX, so I don't know that we can pull it up here on this one.
Yeah, we only have American equities in our data feed here. I don't have it though. I don't have anything for QNC.
See here.
Rocket trading higher here.
Maybe there's an over-the-counter. Yes, there is. QNCCF.
And that's the same company?
I think it is. Let me double check.
Okay. Yeah, Dell is ramping here. What does the daily look like on Dell?
Quantum Emotion Corp. That's this one. Yep, QNCCF. That should be it. This one is breaking out. As a matter of fact, we're hitting. It looks like it's hitting all-time highs. Let me double check. Yep, it's going to be hitting all-time highs or the highs from December of last year. Is it December or January? Looks like it's. I'm sorry, it's January. the very beginning of the year, this thing popped up to 172, and we have not been back there since looks like today. We went to 171. So on a technical level, it looks like this is trading up into an ascending triangle. I don't know anything about this company, but just looking at the chart, it looks like this is either going to reverse from here, or we're going to break out over 172 and we're going to trade higher. And there's a couple of spots where we can draw a trend line, get an idea of where it may run to. I started with the high from October.
Sorry, which ticker is this? I was looking at something else while you were doing this.
Still the same one, QNCCF.
Oh, the QNCCF.
Yeah. So I just drew a trend line from that October 2021 high through the January this year high, and that kind of gives us a near-term target of about $2. So that's where I would place the next area of resistance if this continues.
Okay. I was just taking a look at Dell there. That got a slew of price target changes here today. Stock's up by 9%. Does look like the all-time high here at about 179 might be on deck here for Dell. Those price targets here, let me see. Those are all 165, 180, 151, 180, 170, 186. So pretty much right where it's at. But a lot of these price targets near that all-time high for Dell. 9.5% now today.
There was somebody mentioning. Oh, Edward, I will talk about Reddit short here in just a moment.
Yeah, I wanted to hear about that because don't we have something on?
They're actually right now. They should Reddit, Discord, Twitch, and there was one other CEO. The CEOs. They should be at the House Oversight Committee right now testifying about radicalization on online forums. This could affect Reddit stock. It could affect Amazon stock since they own Twitch. The other two companies, Steam. The other two companies are private, so nothing that's going to really affect them. But those would be the two companies I'd be looking into. And Reddit being the cesspool that it is, I think there could be some downside, especially when considering that there is a copyright lawsuit that might be expanding into fraud. So I don't want to get ahead of what's happening here at Reddit or at Twitch for that matter, but it seems like there's some manipulation of evidence that's going to get them into some trouble. So there could be a big case for a short here, particularly with Reddit, being that it's still really extended. So that's why I was saying earlier this week, don't take as gospel. Yeah, I'm still looking into this, but it seems like Reddit it could be in some real legal trouble here, and I'm just trying to look into this some more. Before I give you, yes, Valve, exactly. Who owns Steam, right? So that's this. Let me look a little bit more into this. I think this is really going to materially hurt Reddit, but I don't want to give you like the for sure go ahead that's what this is going to cost.
Reddit down 4% here, and actually looking like it's revisiting the lows that it made right off the opening pull, and it actually looks like it might go lower. Daily chart doesn't look great on Reddit either. Real quickly here, Izzy, this is a good mention. BM&R short report from Kerrisdale Capital. I threw the link to that Kerrisdale PDF in the chat for anyone that's interested here. This was down. Still holding higher here by about 1%. But here you can see that did pull it here, basically right at the BM&R trend line too.
I think Roblox should be already coming down.
Roblox has its own set of problems.
It's got its own set of problems. They're going to get a whole bunch of lawsuits, over allowing child predators to be on the platform. And it's. I think the overall encompassing theme when it comes to shorting Reddit and Roblox has to do with the lack of oversight and the lack of regulation that's hurting consumers and children. I think that's really what it comes down to, is just the lack of oversight or the biased oversight is going to hurt the platform. People are going to leave the platforms. Advertisers are going to have a field day, cutting ties. It could get really, really bad for those two companies. So, that's why I don't want to, just flat out say this is absolutely 100% short. I'm just trying to make sure I get everything right about this, because it's really looking like it could be bad, but I don't want to, I don't want to misspeak.
NXL here. This is trying to get through its VWAP as we speak. It's literally right at the VWAP. I've got that at 171 on ticker NXL. Daniel here looking at this, could bounce here. It has bounced already, but looking like it might try and go through the VWAP. See if it does that here.
The EA bid is keeping who up? I must admit, the Roblox, keeping Roblox up. Now,
the takeover for EA, I think, is what he's saying.
From Saudi Arabia, right? The Saudi Arabia takeover. I didn't know that EA owned Roblox. I thought that was. I don't know. I didn't.
I think he might be saying that that's a sympathy.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, gotcha. All right. I'm going to look at some of these movers real quick here. It looks like NXL, as some folks were mentioning, is trying to turn around here and recapture some levels.
It's not shown the strength to move through the VWAP yet, 13, but I've been watching it here just because the chat brought it up. It does look like it keeps trying to go up to it. It pulls off of it, doesn't break down, and then goes right back on. So we'll see if it's got the juice to maybe move through here.
Brian, I'm just joking with you, but I think that funeral happened a long time ago, sir. EA games has been.
Man, I used to be on the hook for buying 3 or 4 of those EA games per year because of that. I was so into those sports games: NHL, FIFA, Madden. Oh man, I don't play those. I don't really play video games anymore, to be honest, unless you consider the market a video game, in which case I guess I do every day.
There's been a real big callback to some of the older titles. And remember how I was talking to you about how a lot of these old titles could get a complete rebirth with the way AI is able to scale up graphics and sounds in real time. So kind of one of the things I'm excited for to come out in the future, and I don't know how far away we are, is a platform or some kind of component you can buy for a computer where it just upscales old content, like old video games in real time. So playing the Ocarina of Time, for example, upscales it to look like real people like Ryan and myself here in real time without any lag. That would be amazing, and it would I think revitalize some parts of the industry. But I'm getting way too ahead of myself.
Real quick here, Fairchild, good morning. Just popping in to say hi. Where you been, Fairchild? Why don't you hang out with us anymore? What happened? What changed? Go Brewers, all in fun. Look, I respect where respect is due. Brewers are putting the Cubs in the hurt locker. I kind of already think the series is over. Yesterday, the day before, the last game, 3-run homer in the first, thought that might be good, and then just got absolutely pounded. So respect. It looks like your team is doing a lot better than the Cubs this year. That's for sure.
Jay Rice, even though that Quantum, that was kind of my big call last year, and how they could go on a run, and even if they came back in, they'd still. I'm there with you. I think we have got a major blow off top in these Quantum names, and I think they need to come back in for the sake of them. Not getting completely destroyed. They need to come back in, because I still think that a lot of these companies are pretty decent. There's certainly a lot of chunky Quantum names. I understand that, but I do think that there are some really good ones out there that that are still going to survive. And I don't want to get them hurt. I don't want them to get hurt from the from this move down that they're all going to experience. And yeah, it's totally a blow off top in that space.
Look at Rigetti. This thing went up to 48 and then immediately pulled 5 points at the lows here. Jay, really quickly, if you do think this is a blow off top, how are you playing any of these Quantum names to the short side, if you are? And Fairchild, been doing futures lately. How's that going for you? Are you going to join us for our futures segment tomorrow that we run on Thursdays? Let me know. But yeah, I look, anyone that has a thesis for shorting these Quantum names, I'm interested in how you're looking at it or how you're actually doing it.
XBio is recapturing the VWAP. I think as long as you're just making sure you're out of these names before we lose that volume in the market, you're going to be just fine. But I don't know the best way to play these names to the downside. There's always that risk that we could just squeeze again. But it seems like we are going to get. We talked about this yesterday in Happy Hour. We could get a short-term, pullback or correction in this market, just based on how crazy things have been extended. But
Yeah,
that certainly doesn't mean that we're going to, go into a bear market from here. We could just, maybe get a pullback or a correction, and then we're right back to dip buying and ripping to new all-time highs. That could certainly happen.
we do have some poll results here for you. How long will the AI spending spree continue? 48% of you said 1 to 2 years. 26% of you said 3 to 4 years. 18% of you said 7 years or more, and 8% of you said 5 to 7 years. So it looks like majority of you think that this is just like a 1 to 2 year thing, and then might turn around.
I don't think so.
Did you vote in the poll? Which one did you vote for?
Well, I didn't. It didn't pop up for me, but I think that the AI chip and all that's going to be largely cyclical. I believe. I don't know how long those cycles will last, because we could come up with something that completely destroys AI, and that's better. Maybe the quantum. We get quantum chips and NVIDIA isn't the leader in that space anymore, or at all. So there could be some changes happening, but until that happens, I think the AI chip, the semiconductor theme, that just might end up being cyclical.
Okay, XBio.
We'll have different cycles of where we're just everybody will have to upgrade or get left behind. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Okay, XBio here. This making a return back to its VWAP.
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying. Some of them are still good companies, but a lot of them are junk. And we're and when that whole sector corrects or comes back in, or gets destroyed, however you want to put it,
the junk is going to be separated from
right.
the quality names, without a doubt. 13, you're absolutely right on that.
Yeah, and that could very well be the case too, Jeremy. The quantum chips could be are the future. How soon is a question, but I think there's more questions too. Like, are we going to wait for gate-based quantum, or are we going to do what we did with AI here and just dump trillions into narrow AI instead of general? You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't need to reach the end game for these technologies in order for them to be worth trillions. We just need to get excited enough about it if we can kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel.
RX, this is moving here. Oh my goodness. Why didn't this come up on the relative volume scanner? Oh, I guess the volume here, very similar to yesterday. Was there news on this one?
Let's see.
Form 4 from Friday on October 3rd.
It's squeezing.
32.5% of the float shorted. 7.89 days to cover. Okay.
I don't. Yeah. I don't see any real reason this is moving. It's other than it's just well, gosh, that's a pretty heavy float for such a move. But I think it really has to do with the squeeze, because I don't really know what this even does. What is it? Clinical stage biotech company decoding knowledge. It's drug discovery. It really doesn't. I don't know what even they focus on. It doesn't seem like they focus on any one thing really. Let's look at their pipeline and see what they got. So oncology looks to be the big thing here for this one.
Look at this move though.
So oncology, and then a couple of rare diseases. So that's what they do. Yeah, and Jay, that's the thing. Like, if those start coming in, it could pull the whole market down, because I think those are probably the most speculative, aside from maybe cryptocurrency. Those are the most speculative assets. What do we think about CCCX, the one that is merging with Inflection? I believe the name is called. and that's a quantum company, atom-based quantum, I believe. Let me look and see when they're supposed to vote on merging.
AREB is open. Was that halted up, Wiss? Yeah, it looks like that's going to rehalt here at 880, right?
Okay, so
this is halted. Sorry, AREB halted here at 880.
So CCCX does not have a vote date yet. It's still going through SEC review and regulatory approval. So there could be a little bit more time for this one, but it could be an interesting one. But here's the thing: look at what all the quantum names are doing, and that's what this is going to end up being. So if the quantum stocks are already coming down by the time that this becomes a company, a post-merged company, it might get hammered with the rest of them. So I think that could be the risk here with this. So just something to pay attention to. If you're looking to try and do this one, just keep an eye out for the filings. That'll tell you, when they expect to have a vote on the merger.
VKTX, this is a good mention here. This is going up by 6% here today. I don't see any news on this one. We talked about this one a long time ago. A fat drug candidate, possible buyout candidate. Really, since it's broke down, kind of lost sight of it. Having a nice day here today, but I have no angle or trade on this one. Big bear hug.
I am not really seeing anything that's looking interesting to me right now.
No, neither am I. This has been kind of a rough. I don't say rough, but kind of been a slow day.
It's been mostly slow. We did have some really good opportunities right out the gate. We did. I think we had some folks capitalize on that too. Now, XBio doesn't look like it's quite done yet, but it is trading beneath the VWAP. So, man, if we can just get some more volume into this and get back above VWAP, this could start trading better again. But unfortunately, it is 10:30. We are going to probably see a lot of this volume leave the market. So I don't know how much volatility we're going to get in these names. Baru still trying to recapture that 65 EMA. That was a really good trade out of the gate, up to 85 cents. Now, I don't want to talk down to this one since it certainly gave me a pretty good trade here this morning. But we're going to need to be patient, I think, with this one if there's going to be more upside here. It looks like this could continue a little bit lower before it turns around and goes higher. So maybe this was one that comes back later on today. When the volume returns, that would kind of be what I'd be waiting for with Baru, because it just looks like it's still kind of bearish at the moment. There is no ASTS short ETF.
There was only a long. I thought
there was only a long. It's ASTX. Yeah.
All right, I keep trying to click on the same tickers. Don't see a whole lot of good stuff at all. I guess we're waiting to see what happens with AREB when it opens. NXL still holding beneath its VWAP. That's got to get above VWAP to really kind of change. EMNR, how's that doing after the Carisdale report? Lower than when that report was released, but really not breaking down. Really kind of bounced back. Ondas 12 calls getting bought. More here on Poet. We talked about this earlier. This really hasn't done anything, but it's really just kind of held right by its VWAP there.
Give me 1 second. I'm just going to try and look at that something real fast here.
While you're pulling that up here, I do have some news to read for you here. Let me just go ahead and do that. Big news. Benzinga is launching a brand new video podcast with Stakeholder Labs called Marketopolis. Marketopolis is where retail investors, business professionals, and aspiring leaders get a front row seat to the candid conversations with the executives running today's public companies. Each episode feels less like an earnings call and more like a coffee chat. Executives open up about how they think about money, investing, and leadership, plus how they communicate with the markets and view their growing influence of retail investors. New episodes will drop weekly across YouTube, LinkedIn, X, and Benzinga.com. and all major podcast platforms. Be sure to check out the new weekly show, Marketopolis, brought to you by Benzinga. Okay.
Right. I was just looking at. Oh, sorry, I was silent there. I was just trying to see if I could find anything on the oversight committee hearing that's going on.
I haven't seen anything come out about that, but Reddit has continued to slowly bleed. It actually did take out that impulse low from the open.
Yep. Yep. This is looking like support might not be coming until about.
AREB is open. Sorry to interrupt. AREB open.
Amazon gapping up. Gapping, huh? On what time frame? I don't see it on the. Well, hold on a second. No, we didn't. Well, we opened higher than the close from yesterday, but we had price action in this area. But it is. I see what you're saying. We did create a gap with that open, but we filled it already.
AREB pulling is going to halt to the downside if it holds here at 852 on AREB. Halted 852 to the downside. That's ticker AREB.
I'm just trying to look around and find something for y'all.
Yeah, I'm looking too. I don't have any great setups on anything here today. I really don't.
Might get a turnaround in the market pretty soon. That TQQQ is looking a little. Well, maybe it might be extended here. Let me look at the SQQQ is doing. So we are not very extended away, but it is kind of curling. So we'll see what ends up happening. FCX keeps going up. It had a big move down, but yeah, it's got a nice recovery. And now we are in gap fill territory. That gap fills at 45.30. I probably might end up getting that today, to be honest. You need more volume, but you know.
All of these look awful. Here's your ATON. This did hold the ATON, Alpha Ton Capital. This did hold the 200 EMA. Actually just took the 9 and the 15. And the VWAP's at 1433. So if it does return to VWAP, maybe this will work. Volume doesn't look great here, though, on ATON. And UNH, we took a look at that earlier, Von. Continuing to move towards its gap fill, 377.5. We've been waiting on this for a while. We've been talking about UNH for a good amount of time.
Lion, let me ask you something about FCX, because I'm looking at a weekly chart and I'm thinking that we need to get above that week that we had the big down move, the week of September 22nd. We need to close above that candle. I would say by the end of next week. Otherwise, I think we could end up getting a reversal and come back down. I don't know what you think about that, but just looking at the chart here on the weekly chart, I think that needs to happen sometime next week. We need to get above that price action from that September 22nd.
Anne Marie said traders in digestion mode are in digestion mode. It's not indigestion.
Oh, they have indigestion. That's
traders
for sure.
are in digestion mode, I believe is what she's trying to say. Anne Marie, if that's the case, do you think that we see buy the dip after the digestion process is done? Do you think we just see another move up? Because that's what the market's been doing. Buy the dippers have been working. Looking across the board here, I am seeing some of these stocks come back. I mean, I know this is not a good market barometer, but Ondas, after getting pounded right out of the open, that's coming back. Some of the other ones too. Tesla, Netflix did it fast. Just curious.
And NAC and TMQ curling back up. Not on great volume, though. XBio says Scarlet. So did that get another move? No, it didn't. It looks like it got a move up through VWAP, and then it came right back in. That was about 15, 20 minutes ago. But it is holding. It is trying to hold above the 65 EMA. I have that currently beneath VWAP right now. VWAP for me is 1301.
Okay. M Sense, somewhat new here. Welcome. Hopefully you enjoy yourself here. I hit the like button earlier. So, okay, well, that's good. Thank you for doing that.
But Hot Stocks Luke is coming?
No. M Sense. No, definitely not.
You hit the Luke button, though.
Okay. He obviously meant the like button. That's probably a typo from the phone.
I know.
Probably has a Luke friend in his phone that autocorrects often. I have a XOM call and an SLV put. If you're still looking for tickers to analyze, thanks in advance. So it's funny, too, because I think we talked about XOM yesterday, maybe also on the happy hour, about this possibly being a pretty decent long-term play from this area. I don't have any XOM exposure myself here, but I'm pretty sure. 13, do you recall what we did here?
With XOM?
Yeah, we talked about this, but I can't remember where it was. I think, was it Frank?
Maybe. This thing is still kind of trading into a bit of a broadening wedge ever since it ran up in late 2022. It's just been kind of bouncing around sideways. I would more or less expect that to continue with the top end of this wedge being around 125 and the bottom end at this point being about 90, 91. So I don't know if we're going to get down to the bottom edge of this wedge. The 200-day SMA has been providing some support. It did back in April. So I would say that if there's going to be some downside, it's got some moving averages that could catch it. I would think 105 would be one of the big support areas. But what's the question on this one? Because
just to analyze the chart, these are positions that the gentleman has.
It's just right now it's just kind of going sideways. It's been going sideways for a couple of years, more or less, with ups and downs, but it's been broadening. So it could continue to do that. And I'm not sure what to really make of energy at the moment with all the developments happening between Russia and the EU and India and them buying oil and U.S. trying to get everybody off Russian oil. And I'm not sure how that's all going to play into where oil ends up going, but for now, I think I would just stick with the way with what the chart's been doing, which is just been the price action and broadening.
Yeah, I mean, near term here, really since the Liberation Day lows, this thing has made a series of higher lows. We just talked about buying the dips still being in effect here. Yeah, I don't have a position on this. I'm sorry, man. I don't know where this is going. And it's just kind of, and Lion here saying it's not looking good. It's just kind of sitting here. I was kind of looking at that too. Really, since 2022, this thing's kind of been in a range from about $100 to $120. Yeah, we're closer to the top end of that range. So maybe you want to see a breakout here on this. I don't have any long-term view or short-term trading view on XOM. I'm sorry.
I think it's probably just better to look at a monthly chart for some levels, because I was mentioning 105 and I was looking at a weekly. Now that I see that on a monthly, I do like 105 as a support area. It's just that, as it was being mentioned, it's gone sideways. It's still broadening that sideways action. That could go on for a time until there's, maybe a geopolitical event or something happens to the global oil supply or war. I mean, I just don't, it's going to take something major, I think, at this point to really get this going. And I just don't know what that is right now.
Man, PayPal, off of that initial pull, PayPal has actually gone red to green. Look at this move here on PayPal. 75 has really been a key level, too, on the daily here for PayPal. Love to see this maybe break above this area, go towards 80. Yeah, that's DFDV that Jonathan is mentioning here. This has actually kind of had an interesting morning here. I did have some news. This pulled right out of the open and then ended up going green here. It's actually green by 2%. There was news here today about them. We actually did an exclusive on this regarding Each registered stockholder, as of the record date, will receive one warrant for every 10 shares of the company. I believe that warrant price is in the 20 handle. 22.50 is your exercise price. So this is interesting. Kind of slow. Another exclusive here. Not like the COCH from yesterday, but interesting nonetheless. Jonathan, let me know if you have a line on this one. DNA getting mentioned by Parker's Thinkorswim indicators. Let's see again, Parker. I missed a couple of your other comments from earlier today. Sorry about that. DNA was actually a pretty good move out of the open. BMNR is down now on the back of that Kerrisdale short report. Indeed. So this bounced and rolled back over. We'll see if it tests that impulse low there, BMNR, $57.
Jay Rice, I'm looking at CNX, and that's not a bad idea at all. But there's a company called Glencore that agreed to buy all of their production, almost all of their production. So I'm wondering, maybe Glencore we want to look at, or maybe another one. What's going to be the and there's some Iceland ties to this as well, since they have smelter facilities there. Wondering if that plays into your thesis at all, or maybe if there's some with that in mind, if there's another aluminum company we should be looking at, because I don't know about this one, especially with the run that it's been on. By the way, ATON, this is getting some more movement. Folks were pointing this one out earlier. 65 EMA is coming up next. We are curling back up here. If we recapture the 65 EMA, we're going to want to see 14 get hit.
And I do like the fact that we had a little bit of a volume pop here. If that continues, maybe we do finally have a decent setup.
James is pointing out Orbs is up 9%. That continues to climb.
Dan Ives, baby. Dan Ives.
Getting anything else turning around here? Man, Baru, that just went right down to the 200 EMA. Maybe there's some support coming here with this one now. I don't know. But that trend line was good.
RX back up at the highs there.
RX. I haven't looked at that one yet this morning.
Yeah, we have. This is
I haven't.
Oh, okay.
I have not looked at that yet.
Webcoin waiting for a turn in NXL.
Maybe. Haven't really seen the momentum swing in the other direction yet, and we need some better volume. So I'll say maybe. I haven't seen any evidence yet that we're turning around quite yet, but it does look like it's trying to start basing. Anton, I think, is going to provide the move. If we can just continue to get that volume we were just getting about 5-10 minutes ago, that should take us up to the resistance area around 14.15.
That's ATON, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Out on Baru. Oh, Bull has huge volume. Is this shorts covering? Let's look at Bull.
Here, I can put that up 13.
I mean, it may have just hit a technical level. Let me look at a chart here, because it went down to beneath 1150. Let's see here. Wow, this thing really got hammered over the past few days.
Sure did.
I wonder what the news was that pulled it down. Maybe it was just another relationship trade that pulled it down, but I don't really see anything that's causing it to come in. Is Hood coming down too? Because if it is, and I would say maybe that's kind of like a relationship trade. It's not really come down. I don't know what the reason for Bull coming in so much is, but maybe some of the problems that we're having were related to that, and just spooked investors out of it. I don't know. Don't know the reason.
Take care of yourself, Judge. Good to see you again.
Take care, Judge. KTOS downgraded? Ooh, I don't know if I would downgrade that. That one's been a massive winner, and that could still continue to be a winner. AA is the big dog on aluminum. Alcoa, okay. This one doesn't look like it's gone on nearly the run the other one has. So maybe this one could be the one that, to Jay's point, Trump targets. Now, where do they smelt and mine out of? Because that's going to be the other one of the other facets to this trade. We're working the way Trump wants it. He wants production here. So I don't know where this where they have their operations at, but I think that's going to be a big factor. Yeah, and
NTLA. Wow, sorry to interrupt you here. We talked about some of these gene editors. This NTLA seems to be ripping here today. I don't know what's going on with this. I'll see if there's any news on this one. But my goodness, what a move!
Yeah, and then
Monday got a $33 price target from JPM. Sorry, 13.
Jay's right. If the shorts were covering, I think it would be going up, and I think that's what they were talking about when it was starting to turn around, because it looked like it had a reversal. So I think that's what they were referring to, but I think it would be going up more than this. Let's see what happens at 12. If it can recapture 12, maybe there is some covering happening. Let's just see what happens at 12.
NTLA, wow, what a move. Plus 16.5% here today on NTLA. Not chasing that move.
This is another short squeeze, or this is the same one, right? This is the same one we looked at earlier, right?
I don't think we looked at NTLA earlier. This actually had a price target raise on Monday from JP Morgan and coverage here. It does have 36% of the float shorted with 7 days to cover. But this is related to CRISPR and Eat It and those other gene therapy stocks.
This is what short covering looks like.
Yeah, sure does.
$33 price target, huh?
Yep.
Okay. Well,
that's still 10 points away, even after this move that it's made.
ASTS going lower. Yeah, I still think that eventually Starlink's going to make Verizon, AT&T, and all those others regret going with ASTS. ASTS, I just don't think has the longevity that Starlink will have. And they both already have satellites up there, so I'm not saying that they. But here's the thing: ASTS really needs to start showing that revenue. They guided that by the end of this year, they were going to have I think it was 50 to 75 million in revenue. So we need to see that show up in their balance sheet, or this thing is going to really come back in. Or I'm sorry, their income statement.
All of these gene editors are moving. October 7 through 10, there's a conference in Spain. I wonder if that's going on. Yeah, that started 51 minutes ago. That's for October 9th, though. All of these are moving. I wonder if there's something going on at this conference that we don't have information on. Eat It, CRISPR, and NTLA all look the same here intraday.
Is there something that's that could completely disrupt industries happening? I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. They apparently this here oral presentation at the European Society of Gene and Cell Therapy Congress. This is going on right now. It started yesterday, ends the day after tomorrow. And Eat It is presenting there. I'm just trying to figure out what this actually is. This is a good, whoever mentioned NTLA, that was a good shout there. Super Sam saying NTLA is a big Kathy Wood and ARC stock. And yeah, Lion, a lot of these gene editors were much, much higher years ago. And that's why I'm kind of wondering now if we're getting a spike on volume, what's going on with that?
Fantastic, B-Man. Jay's also mentioning FRTE and ARKG. That's the
sure. We've been kind of short on register rings, so B-Man, I'm happy to hear about that win. Big time win there. I like it.
Looks like Baru is trying to reverse. That's what it looks like it's happening there with that one. Now it's going to have to deal with some of these EMAs. There's going to be, I think there's resistance at 64. That's coming up here. Then after that, I would say 67, and then VWAP, which is at a little bit above 70.
Producer, I appreciate this. Paulo on that Friday option show has been talking about NTLA for the past 2 weeks. Did he have some type of catalyst or something that was coming, or some time frame, or anything on that he was looking for? That looks, at least today, that looks to be working.
RXRX has hit a new session high. Well, yeah, that might be a good point there, Lion. What if when does this conference end?
The one on the gene editors?
Mm-hmm.
October 10th is the last day.
That could be the day that they start to sell off. Maybe if they don't sell off ahead of that.
Yeah, and I just want to know. I'm just kind of wondering what the content from that is as it applies to the gene editors. I just don't know. See if we can find it though.
Even, it's also kind of getting a little bit of a lift here. It's not a significant lift, but I just noticed is Pacific Biosciences. That's
Pac B, right?
Yeah, that's getting a little bit of a move here too. It's really low volume, but it's getting a move here. It's up over 10 cents, and that's an interesting one that I've been keeping an eye on too. All right, so there are. We had like over maybe 3 or 4 100% runners this morning, and then by the time we opened, I think there was like maybe one.
Yeah, it's not been great.
But it's okay.
Not been great for the day trades.
ACXP, this was mentioned earlier, and this is coming up to a resistance area that was rejected at earlier today, this morning. If we can get a little bit more volume, we might be able to at least test the 65 EMA, which has a value of 767. And
Zeta, this is actually a pretty decent reversal here. This was a drone play, wasn't it? Let me see. Data-driven cloud platform. No, what am I mixing this up with?
Compare NTLA to Carvana. Similar setup. Oh, I think you're talking about like on a daily chart.
Yeah, I must be. On the monthly chart.
Daily or monthly, sure. Any one of those larger time frames. I think you can still see what he's talking about.
Okay, let's put Carvana CVNA as the main stock and then compare it here to NTLA. And throw it on the monthly. I failed to see it.
Well, I think what he's referring to is before the whole Carvana move. I don't think you can compare the two right now. But if you look at just like a weekly or daily or monthly chart with NTLA, this is, I think what he's saying is down where it's at right now is this is the turn that Carvana took that brought it off of its single digit lows and caused it to run over 200. So I think what he's just saying is that just like Carvana, this is
so it's a beaten down name that might be coming back here.
Right.
Gotcha.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay, sorry. I took it literally and compared the two tickers to one.
I don't know that this goes on a run like Carvana did. I don't really see how that would be the case. These are two different kinds of companies that and Carvana ran for a different reason. So I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, and thank you for Tracy G-Man. It was Xena that I was thinking of. I just mixed up the ticker. Appreciate you guys.
Big Bear Hug is mentioning PLTZ.
So Palantir, I did notice Palantir is rolling over to the lows there. So that would be great for the PLTZ trade, especially if this breaks and starts moving lower. We'll see what we get here. I'll take another look and see where this is at near the close. Maybe add to that position. But remember, we took a starter here this morning on that.
All right. Carvana, I mean, they do sell cars. I think there is a little bit of sketchiness when you look at at Root, because they're tied together, and I think that a lot of Root's business comes from Carvana. So what happens to Root if Carvana stops selling cars or runs into trouble selling cars? I don't disagree about them being a not so favorable company, but they are selling cars. I just don't like the business model at all. Yeah, I think Josie, you got it right there. It's very comparable with their setups.
Take care of yourself, Kev.
Take care, Kevin.
Good to see you again. S&P here is holding at 671. So futures holding higher here, still under yesterday's all-time high.
ACXP is breaking through the 65 EMA.
Okay, so VWAP next, maybe 941.
Well, it's over my VWAP now, but if yours is at 941, let me see what's around there. I mean, that kind of is a bit of an area where there was some resistance and support. So if you look to the left at the after hours yesterday, that after that first impulse move that got rejected, it tried to get back above that area where your VWAP is, and it was rejected there again. Couldn't get back above it until pre-market this morning. And even when that still happened, it ended up trending lower. I think that 940 area could be the top end of the resistance, and the low end of the resistance is going to be close to where it's at right now at about 865.
Okay, this thing's sub 8 now, so this just pulled right off of that. We wanted to see this volume expand. The volume candles here actually look pretty good, but pulling back a little bit here.
And Jay Rice, I think that's the case too. And then I don't think the rich are really going to buy cars out of vending machines. So I think that's
me either. I'm with you on that.
All right. So wait and see what Palantir does if we start to get that weakness that we're anticipating. ACXP now pulling.
Yeah, this is interesting though. So that had a volume spike there, which really kind of brought it up, but it pulled back, and so far it's holding. Looks like this is the 65 EMA. We'll see if it continues to do that. 13. We're out of time though. We're going to have to go to the story trading guys here today. Any closing words for the group?
Well, another one of these days where we couldn't find too many good movers. We did find some. We did make some money. It was a lot of fun looking at all these and trying to figure out what's going to move next. Bring that energy back here tomorrow so we can find some more things that may end up moving in the future. I love learning about all this different stuff and talking with you all. So let's do it again tomorrow, folks. We'll come back here, make some money. And until then, take care and stay safe, stay green. I'll see you then. Goodbye.
All right. Sounds good, 13. Thank you very much. 13's departure leaves room for the story trading, folks. We'll bring on Rhett and Godfather. You guys, is Ben coming?
Not today. Today's another holiday.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, Rhett, take it away. I'll be honest. We had kind of a slow day here today, so hoping you guys can find some really good plays for our group.
We actually crushed it this morning. We top pick of the day was we had a $90 target. I was out within 3 minutes of the market being open. So we
hey, all right.
So
good stuff there. All right, guys. Have a good one. I'll see you in a little bit.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you. Take care.
Morning, Rhett.
Morning, Godfather. How's it going?
Good. Yeah, congrats on ASTS. It's amazing to me that this commercial agreement with Verizon, which these guys have been a pre-revenue funder of the company since the early days, can move the stock this much, especially after the move yesterday, all in the face of this $800 million equity distribution agreement. So it tells you something about the 40 million share short position, tells you something about what kind of market we're in. I think it was Dougie who said that it's like a balloon market. It's not just a melt up market. It's like a balloon market. And I think there's some truth to that. Anyway, fantastic trading, being nimble on that and playing it from the long side. Where do you sit on the calls right now?
I'm all out, actually. I got out within the first 3 minutes of the market open, and I just have long-term shares now. I don't have any calls in my retirement account, just common. And the average is in the 20s, so I've been doing very well on this name. I've been selling on the way up, and I kind of regret selling those couple hundred shares, but it's all good.
Regarding selling is what happens in momentum markets, and that's clearly what we're in, right? So, and we saw a little bit of a pullback yesterday, but that comes on the heels of 7 straight up days. At a time when people are calling on a daily basis for some sort of exhale to this market, because we are, by all accounts, deeply into overbought territory, right?
Yep.
It's interesting to me, if you look at the stats, that retail is fully invested here. There is a nice tailwind, though, looking into Q4 from the institutional money that, across the spectrum, from pension funds to hedge funds to, straight long only mutual funds, they've underperformed the indices, which isn't that surprising given that all the weight is in mega cap tech, and that segment of the market continues to surge here. So those guys have to chase this market higher, and we're seeing a bit of that. But look, the latter stages of momentum market, when you start to see high short interest names, shitcos, some of these segments of the market that are extremely frothy, like quantum, some of these small cap drones without any real business plans, companies that are recreating themselves as new tech defense companies. All these things are signs, right? So focus on the risk side of the risk return spectrum right now, I think is advisable. Or as we say in our Discord, enjoy the party, but stand close to the door, and be nimble if you're trading some of these small cap names, because the music will stop here. I don't think it's going to be, material, and I don't think it's going to be lengthy, but there will be a pause to some of these, high flying momentum names. And of course, it is the names that fly the most, that have the most downside risk to them. So, from a macro standpoint, I do think earnings look good. Interest rate environment that's, trending down. You've got Trump essentially saying, we're going to grow the U.S. out of debt. These are all reasons why assets in general are flying, especially, risk assets. You see it in gold, simultaneous with, the Bitcoin hitting new highs. All of this is just a flood to assets, right? It's an anti-dollar trade. You've got, potentially an inflationary environment. And you've got more issuance coming from the government. So, where do you want to be? You want to be in assets that inflate higher. And that's exactly what we're seeing across the spectrum. So, yeah. What do you want to talk about first? We've got so many names that are working.
Yeah, we have. So another top pick today from the morning, it was this gap fill we saw. It was a clear setup happening, just a pure technical trade. Was UNH. This thing got beaten up. I mean, as you guys know, the whole story, won't go in depth on that. We saw this in pre-market. Sorry, I'm working on a thing. I haven't logged in, so it doesn't have like any of my stuff saved. But we had a 371.83 target that we hit this morning, and then it pulled back, and now it's rocking again. So that had a gap fill today.
It's a great looking chart if you zoom out on long term as well, right? We're starting to break above. Yeah, we filled the gap, and now we're breaking above. Yeah, I'm not involved in that trade at all. I just, I chose Pfizer as my way to play healthcare, on the heels of the administration changes. And, obviously attracted to a 6% yield on that name and an 8 PE. But it is certainly underperformed UNH in the last several days. But I do like that as a longer term play. And look, here's the other thing, the key themes in the market, I don't think are going to change here. But when you've got the semi-hardware names, and I know they're being fueled right now. You had, Oracle's Investor Day, the stock's up over 8%. You had Semicon West all this week. There are a lot of data points that came out. Obviously, the OpenAI AMD, the previous news last week with OpenAI and NVIDIA. Every single day you see an increase in the Google searches for AI bubble, but every single day you see more evidence of this cadence of AI spend, which is now, in excess of 200 billion a quarter, or not in excess of 200 billion a quarter, but forecasts are going to in excess of 200 billion a quarter, or at least a minimum of $500 billion in 2026. So, I think we're at 100 trillion a quarter, or 100 million a quarter. $1.25 billion. Sorry, the numbers are just so crazy big. But there are ways to play this on a second derivative basis that aren't demanding from a valuation standpoint. One of the names I want to talk about is BTU, which is Peabody Coal. They're the #1 thermal coal player in the U.S. They are 20 to 25% of the 15% that coal makes up of the power grid. And look, you've got the market bidding up Oklo to 17 billion market cap, bidding up SMR to $11.5 billion market cap. This thing sits at $3.5 billion market cap. They can do $500 million in earnings on an annual basis. And you've got the U.S. Trump administration, throwing money from the DOE to expand coal-fired power plants. You've got bottlenecks in natural gas power plants. The only way to actually meet the near-term needs, not just of the AI data centers, but of all the rest of this onshoring that Trump is expediting through the tariff regime, is coal. They have the existing capacity. Coal 25 years ago was 50% of the power grid. So this is the #1 beneficiary, and here's a name that's trading at 15 times earnings, 6 times on an EV/EBITDA basis. Strong cash position. They're not going to dilute. You're not paying 20 times revenue for a name like this. In fact, you're paying right now, I'm just looking at it, 0.8. So, I think you're going to see money start to flow to these more value names, the longer the froth continues in this theme.
Definitely. And then another one I want to touch on is someone's asking about how now is the housing and all that with LDI.
Yeah, look, and I think this is exactly what I was talking about. People are starting to look, where can we deploy capital in a sector that hasn't moved yet? As long as the 10-year rate stays above 4%, you're not going to see a major move down in mortgage rates, which moved in advance of the rate cut and have stabilized and actually moved up a little bit since then. But there's still 3 million mortgages on the books that would benefit from refinancing. And there's no company that benefits more than LDI on an operational leverage basis because they have the lowest cost of acquisition. They basically have a renewal rate that's in excess of 70% versus peers that are around like 40%. So if people refinance, 70% will refinance back with LDI again. But look, I've been saying that the administration is going to do what we saw them do, to coal recently, what we saw them do in the nuclear industry. We've seen them do in various subsectors. They did it, just recently with affordability in drugs. All these things touch a lot of consumers, right? It touches a lot of voters, and it bolsters the administration's profile going into the midterms for November. But the one thing that touches more people than anything else is housing. And you've heard Bessent talk about, potentially declaring a housing emergency. And why are they talking about that? Because they're trying to set the stage to use these Emergency Power Act, to empower their agenda, which I think will be, commissioning Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae to get active in the MBS market and start buying mortgages, to empower Ginnie Mae to improve the mortgage insurance guarantees out there, do what they can in terms of, pulling levers, exempting building materials from tariffs, et cetera, for housing affordability, opening up federal lands like they did with coal for affordable housing. There are a lot of things that they can do. So I've been saying that this is going to be a fourth quarter trade. It's kind of stalled here. If we do see, of course, rates get cut 2 more times, which is what Fed Fund futures are expecting for this year, I think there is a good chance that 10-year goes below 4. And when that happens, all of these names ignite to the upside. So there are a couple of influencers that are starting to pick up that theme. and that's causing some strength for the first time in a long time with LDI up 6.5%. That's what's going on.
Yeah, so someone's asking what the tickers is. What that was LDI and nail.
LDI.
And then another one you wanted to touch on too. Someone came on the short report today, I think, was BM&R, correct?
Yes, I saw that. I didn't get into the weeds on what the short report was about, but look, these treasury companies work when you can issue stock at a premium to NAV, right? And you can increase the amount of, in this case, Ethereum per share. And, to their credit, they are the leader. They got out in front quickly in terms of raising money. They have the largest strategic Ethereum reserve. So they are getting that premium. So, but, again, this is a treadmill. They have to be able to keep maintaining that with a business model that relies upon dilution. I think one of the interesting names, and I did the math on this morning. One of the names that we were early on was BTBT, and it's lagged. But you've seen this incredible run to their data center division, Wi-Fi, ticker WYFI. The IPO'd this thing at, I think it was 19, it went to 17, and now it's 34. So if you do the math on the 27 million shares that they own of Wi-Fi, plus they're now at 150,000 ETH at current prices, you get a combined value of 1.6 billion. In the numerator, 320 million in the denominator. It gets you a value around 450 per share, and the stock is trading at 385. They just issued. They came up with $100 million convert offering, which they upsized to 135 million. That converts at 416. I just did the math. Let's assume the stock price is 416, and all of that converts. Okay, because you can't look at a numerator or a denominator that doesn't factor in the fact that they've actually diluted, even if the dilution hasn't exactly happened. So if you add those 32 million shares, you get like 353 million in the denominator, and you do that math on the numerator in terms of their ownership in Wi-Fi plus their holdings on Ethereum. Again, you come out to a value that's around 458 a share. Stock's trading at 388. Now, there should be some holdco discount. The market typically ascribes around a 20% discount, considering the fact that they couldn't just simply offload 27 million shares of Wi-Fi, although in this market, they probably could without having to price it that low to market. Even if you factor that in, I get a fair valuation, of this thing that's around 15% higher than current. So, there's a more conservative way to play, one of these DATs, or digital asset treasury companies. Hey, one other name that I think deserves some attention here is AIP. It's this little semiconductor company called Arteris. It's got a $600 million market cap, and the reason that I think it should be in focus, and actually has been in focus. You see this big pop here that came on the heels of the OpenAI AMD news. Is that AMD licenses from Arteris their interconnect fabric, if you will. So what's important here is that this deal with OpenAI for AMD, if you do the math on the 6 gigawatts, it's like $135 billion incremental revenue opportunity for AMD. That filters into earnings estimates that have gone up in 2026 on average 20%. And you're seeing the upgrades continue to come in for AMD. Goldman up their 2027 numbers for AMD, their earnings numbers, by 62%. This is going to filter down. Interconnect is very important. It's what allows data to move faster and more reliably from one part of a chip to another. It's what allows chip designs to utilize less power. It's what allows this chiplet architecture, system on a chip, to have more features, cram more into a single chip. All of these things, it speeds up the design process. It allows them to actually manufacture smaller chips. NVIDIA, one of the core things, in addition to their software stack with their hardware, is their proprietary NVLink, which is their interconnect. And AMD relies to compete against that with the IP that comes from AIP. And the ticker is AIP for a reason, and that's because this is a royalty business model. Okay, this is 90% gross margins. What does a 90% gross margin business deserve on a multiple basis? Well, certainly more than 7, which is what it's trading right now. It's trading at an EV to sales of 7% or of 7 times. And that assumes no increase in consensus estimates, which we're calling for simply a 20% rise in 2026 over 2025. That was before the OpenAI deal. If you factor in, I think is reasonable, even 10 times is reasonable on an EV to sales basis relative to valuations we're seeing in the sector for growth and margins. You get around $15, $16 a share, which coincides with actually street consensus estimates, which haven't yet been upgraded for AIP. If I put in a modest increase, sort of filtering that AMD business down to AIP, and I think it should be relatively linear, you easily get $18 a share on this thing. So there's 50% upside, 50% upside. So if you don't want to play a $100 billion mega cap tech name that trades at 35 times, and you want to trade, a second derivative play that's got a $600 million market cap, AIP I think is a pretty interesting bet.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that name. I actually picked up a few shares in my retirement account for this one. I'm just going to let it play out over the next couple of quarters there. Let's see. People want us thoughts on PATH.
What's that?
Thoughts on PATH.
PATH. I'm going to pass on that one. It's not a name. I know it peripherally, but I haven't followed it, and I haven't done any fundamental work on it recently. I would focus, I guess, our comments here on your insights in the technicals. Looks like a gap fills on tap, eh?
Yeah, we're coming up at some resistance. We'll see what we do there. May reject again, but I don't have any. Hold on, let me pull up another chart. I just don't want to share and flash my account numbers.
Yeah, I don't want to talk out of turn because I can't provide any real
some pure technical. We'll check it out.
Value add on the fundamentals there. Nice day for GSRT post this vote. I see a bunch of street upgrades on that. You've got these themes that we did this big theme worksheet. Remember that in Q4 of last year?
Yep. Around this time.
From power contracting to LiDAR to drones, everything that was moving. And you're starting to see that now. I look at this name that really hadn't moved since last year at this time, and that's ARBE, ARBE. Stocks had a massive breakout this morning. It was up over 20, almost 25% at 285 earlier. It's pulled back a little bit, but still up 16%. These guys have got 4D radar. It's LiDAR. But incorporates radar technology. It allows computer vision through fog and smog and real world issues. And people are starting to look at the applications beyond just EVs and autonomous driving towards potential military applications. The actual news flow out of the company doesn't validate that, but I just think, again, this is what I've been talking about. When you get in the later stages of a momentum market, some of these smaller cap names start getting chased up just because they're in hot themes. So, treat them for what they are, which are, proxy trading vehicles to this frenzy that's going on, and, manage your risk accordingly. But yeah, some nice action in that name today.
And then looking at the path chart on mine, it's all right. I mean, it's nothing I would like be super focused on. I mean, I just set an alert, and if it breaks above those highs there, then that would be something I would be interested in maybe. But there's better opportunities out there. Then someone's asking about XBIO. This thing is up over 170% today on this news.
Yeah, also not a name that
I don't follow that one very well. Aton was up today. A sympathy move you may see in that one is going to be Tonex, TONX.
Yeah, look, and on the Tonex side, you're starting to see anything that represents a risk asset class have a bid. You're seeing it in durable large cap names like Bitcoin and Ethereum. I would not be surprised to see an alt season, and some further interest come down into names like Tonex, which there's catalysts afoot here, right?
Yep.
You've got potential Coinbase listing. You're seeing this thing get listed on exchanges and approved for trading institutionally in Europe and the Middle East. It's just a matter of time. Robinhood, it's on the Robinhood platform now. Coinbase is obviously the big one. So yeah, I think there's some interesting potential upside for Toncoin, and
Yes, I agree.
as a company, owns more Ton than Michael Saylor at MicroStrategy, or Strategy as it's called now, owns Bitcoin. So, and there's really only two DATS plays in Ton, and this one's materially larger than the other. So yeah, it's a focus name for us in our Discord. Because they're a sponsor, but also I think there's some very interesting fundamentals that are worthy of paying attention to. So,
without a doubt, let's check out ASTS back here again, coming back, dipped down in the 80s. Now we're pulling back. I believe some of the members bought in the 80s, but I'm not backing this name. Let's see, Rocket Labs is another one they had. They secured a new. Signing a new multi-year contract, I believe. I think that was this morning, and you saw them spike up, hit our target of 67, and is currently pulling back. But this theme and the space right now is very hot at the moment. I mean, you can look at the charts along with a bunch of other ones, but these things have been popping off recently, especially Rocket Labs, ASTS, if you look at the daily chart. And yeah.
Yeah, one of the space, of course, one of the core themes that factored into our theme rally worksheet, and I think it makes sense, and I've set this up for our Discord to have filters for every single one of these subsectors, and we've done that ranging from power contractors to space to LiDAR to robots to batteries. Nuclear, rare earths, all of these names, theme names, tend to do well as we get near the end of the year, and especially during that quiet holiday period when the quote unquote adults leave the room and retail rules the roost on a lot of these names. So I would expect silly season this year, especially with the backdrop of liquidity in the market, even more robust than it was last year, to be off the hook. So there's going to be an incredible amount of trading opportunities in names that are peripherally exposed to any of these big core theme names.
You want to touch a little bit on RR with the fundamentals here?
Yeah, look, there are two sides to the coin here. There are those that are fans and those that are disbelievers. I sort of fall in the middle, but closer to the end that are disbelievers. I think this company does a tremendous job on investor relations and market hype. I think it should be in the trading vehicle side of your portfolio as opposed to a long-term investment. And I think that's I think that's represented by the price action. So valuations are stretched on this name, but it's in that robot and automation screen. There aren't a lot of real core fundamental names to play with. So you get more money focused into names like Rich Tech.
Yep.
So yeah, I would trade it. It falls firmly in that enjoy the party but stand close to the door category for me. So
I
great
agree.
Great price action, good volume.
Yeah, I don't think this is one I'm going to own in my retirement account, though.
No, I would not bet your retirement money on this or your grandmother's money on it.
Yeah, I agree. And then last one we have time for in the comments is BITF.
BITF, yeah. So look, this theme of HPC conversion, high performance compute conversion among the Bitcoin miners because of their power contracts is clearly a durable theme. It's becoming even more in focus. We saw Iron announce some cloud computing deals yesterday. Obviously we saw the Cypher deal recently. We've seen deals by APLD, you name it. And these guys are, a core part of this, subsector. I don't have at my fingertips their, power contract details, but my understanding is they, like a lot of these guys, have tied up some pretty attractive power contracts. I think the other things you want to focus on are where are they geographically located, and what kind of track record does management have in actually standing up data centers. Not all Bitcoin or cryptocurrency compute can be transferred linearly into HPC. So keep that in mind. But yeah, it's definitely in one of the right sectors.
All right, how'd it go, guys?
Pretty good.
All right, good deal. Thanks for everything. We will see you next week. That is Rhett and Godfather. We're going to have Ben back next week, right?
Yeah. Ben will be back next week. Yep.
Okay, really good stuff, folks. If you like story trading, go ahead and scan that QR code and join their Discord. Rhett, Godfather, thank you, gentlemen. We'll see you next week, all right?
All righty. Take care, Ryan. Have a good one.
All right, that is Rhett and the Godfather from Story Trading. They will be back next week, and we will be back tomorrow. So have a good